the 66th World RX event. In the 6th season of the championship, it could only be hell. But forget about bad omens. If you're Norwegian, this is Rallycross heaven. Welcome to the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. The Scandinavian leg of World RX begins here in Norway. This is pure rallycross territory and is one to tick off for both drivers and fans alike. Opened in 1987, the circuit itself features plenty of elevation change and never fails to deliver when it comes to the action stakes. Hell marks the halfway point of the season. Located near Trondheim in the centre of Norway, which was the nation's first capital, this is the furthest north World RX ventures all year. The summer months mean no darkness, so you could watch Rallycross all night if you so desired. The Speed Machine Festival played host to round 4 of the championship, where there were plenty of bangers off track and some big hits on it as well. 2019's biggest rivals were the class of the field all weekend. Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backrud taking 2 qualifying rounds each and winning their respective semi-finals. But with Kevin Hansen dropping the ball right behind his brother on the very last lap, the final took on an even bigger importance. Both on the front row, both with good starts, Backrud put the squeeze on Hansen into turn 1, the Swede backing off just in time to avoid heavier contact with the tyre wall, and somewhat fortunate to get a helping hand exiting the corner from Timo Scheider. Timmy couldn't find a way past Andreas, and on lap 3 was forced to joker to cover off the hard-charging Anton Markland. Backrud stayed out for maybe 1 lap too many, and when he eventually jokered on lap 5, he could only watch as his nemesis flew by just inches away. Try as he might, there was no way back. Hansen took his 2nd win of the season, and with it the championship lead for the first time ever. What a turnaround from the nightmare of Abu Dhabi.
After the incident in Abu Dhabi, I was like, starting the season bad. When is it gonna be my turn to have a good championship? And it was nice in Barcelona to have such a good result. Then I felt like, okay, I'm in the momentum. Spa for me was a bit of a reminder of how quickly things can go wrong. It's a big reminder that you have to be on top of everything for every round. I need to make another good weekend here, and we aren't even half of the season yet, so it's a long way to go. I've always been chasing, needing to gain more points than the others. Now I am leading, and it's a nice position to be in.
So it's still a Hansen at the top of the standings, but it's big brother Timmy that takes over from Kevin, who drops to 2nd, 4 points behind. Andreas Backrud continues to hunt down the gap, and it's as close as you like between the chasing pack. In the team standings, Hansen MJP increased their lead at the top from GRX Tanaco, who now have the RX Cartel team breathing down their necks. For Andreas Backrud, hell marks the scene of his best weekend in the sport, being the first driver ever to take a clean sweep, winning all 4 qualifying heats, the semi and the final. That was back in 2016, when he went on to stand on the top step twice more. He's been close on many occasions since and before. A record 13 runners-up spots to be precise, including that narrow loss last time out. If ever there was a need to channel the summer of 2016, now is that time.
If you look back on the races where I have performed well is when I have had a lot of pressure. So I'm a typically guy that needs a lot of pressure to do well. I feel the hunger and the need for a win. It's been ages ago. Like before 17, I would always win a race. But no, I haven't won anything since November 2016 Argentina. Yes, I know. It's about time. I'm 11 points behind Timmy, and I know that I let him win way too easily in Silverstone, so I want to have a revenge. You know, we have worked so hard to get here this year. I've had so much support from home, and to be honest, for everyone that have helped me, if we can manage to pull out a win here in Norway on home soil in front of the Backrud Blue Army, that would be mega.
The best of the rest at Speed Machine was undoubtedly a certain Anton Markland. Impressive speed and spot-on tactics have shown he's settled in well at GC competition. After his podium appearance at Silverstone, the likeable Swede is seen by many as the next first-time winner at world level.
Finally, we managed to score a great result. I think everybody in the team was really longing for that result, because everybody felt that we had it. We had the pace, we had the package, but we were a bit unlucky the other events with some technical issues or some contact on track and stuff like that. So a big relief for everybody that we finally managed to get onto the podium. I'm ready to do the work. I know the team have done a great job since Silverstone, so hopefully we can be there on the top of the podium in the end of the race.
After being denied victory by the stewards at the season opener, Niklas Gronholm is another potential World RX debut winner. He returns after a nightmare appendix problem and he's looking to get straight back into the heat of the battle.
1 week ago, I was still in the hospital, but yeah, now it's getting better, and I'm, physically feeling like normal again. So it's good. Quite difficult to say where we are after being so sick and away for 6 weeks. So, my expectations are quite low, but for sure we will try to do our best and win the race. That's always the target when you come racing. Give it maximum in every situation.
With the drivers making their final preparations, let's take a look at what this classic rallycross track has to challenge the World RX grid. Hell in Norway, it's the 6th year for this track in the World Championship. It's one of the classics. 1,119 metres with the Joker lap. It's a 63% asphalt, 37% dirt split. We ride on board with Andreas Backerud over the jump at the start-finish. Into turn 1, he takes the standard lap. The Joker lap goes wide there on the loose. Then the merge is here, also on the loose. Spectacular every time. Braking, hook the curbs on the left. Downhill, that one's blind on the way in. Flat out through the right-hand up. Down towards another braking zone. On tar, onto gravel. Get it as close to the curb as you can. Backerud doesn't get it quite right this time. Bit late on the brakes, over-rotates and runs a bit deep. On the gas, then up the hill on the loose again. As close as you dare on the right. As close as you dare on the left. Balance the car here on the brakes, get it turned into the right-hand side, and it's on the power for a steep run up back to the finish. As Saturday got underway, the Backerud Blues were expecting big things from their man. The first race of qualifying saw very clever tactics from Timo Scheider. In a 3-car race, he forced everyone into the Joker on lap 1, gave himself the whole shot, and from then would hold on for the win. Race 2, Timur Timosyanov and Liam Doran into the Joker lap together. Doran tried to go around the outside in spectacular fashion, but it didn't quite pay off, with the Russian getting in front. Backerud pushed really hard, and come the merge, he just had enough. A win at home for the Norwegian. The returning Niklas Gronholm got the whole shot in his race after a little contact with Szabo, who chose to Joker. The Finn was setting fast laps with a brilliant drive. Kevin Appring doing well just behind. Gronholm stopped the clocks fastest so far. The final race of Q1 and Baumanis had contact with Hansen on the run to the first corner, the Latvian taking out Guillaume de Ridder. De Ridder would go no further. Baumanis tried but didn't make the finish. Hansen lost nearly 4 seconds avoiding de Ridder's car, leaving Gronholm to win Q1. On to Q2, Yannis Baumanis needing a good result after that dreadful first session. Got the whole shot and would hold the lead until the flag, setting a great time. Race 2, on the inside, Cyril Raymond getting a fantastic start and taking the standard lap. Szabo winning the race to the Joker. Raymond was untroubled out front, responded on the very next lap with his own Joker and took the win. The start of race 3 saw Anton Markland and Kevin Hansen come together in the Joker, with Markland getting the position. Liam Doran was chasing Baciuska. He got inside at the Joker with a little bit of contact, and a few moments later Baciuska retired. Out front, Scheider jokered late with great tactics again and took another win. He was fastest so far in Q2. The final race of day 1, and we ride on board with Andreas Backerud behind Q1 winner Gronholm. Timozyanov goes joker, splitting the strategy for GRX. Gronholm hammered in the lap so that when he took his joker, he was clearly in front. Timozyanov nicking a spot from Hansen too. Gronholm making an incredible comeback to World RX, winning both Q1 and Q2, and with that claims the overnight TQ.
I'm trying to do my best in every qualification, and yeah, like I said earlier, in the semi and the final anything can happen. So yeah, we just need to keep our heads down and keep working and to try to maintain this speed.
A perfect performance from Gronholm then to top the table after day one with a lead over his teammate Timozyanov. Then it's Scheider, backward at home in Norway, Timmy Hansen, Markland, Kevin Hansen, Cyril Raymond. But from 9th to 16th, the points gap is tiny, and the final places in the semis are anyone's. So we thought we'd take a look back at some of the starts from Norway, as this is the only track on the calendar with a first corner joker. This was the first race of the day, and damn, brilliant tactics by Timo Scheider to force everyone into that joker.
Yeah, fantastic move by his team there to force everyone in. Only 3 cars in the race, so it made sense to try and put yourself in the lead from turn 1.
Whole shot and the win for him from that. This was Timozyanov, Liam Doran, unbelievable car control. He's really unlucky, it doesn't quite pay off.
Yeah, so sideways on the way around the outside, trying to block Timozyanov, but just didn't quite work by tapping the wall on the outside.
You see it here from the reverse angle. Look, the rear end goes in first and then the nose, and he just loses out to the Russian. So Sabo here in the white Audi, watch for this. He's up behind Gronholm, looks like he wants to go standard lap, and then he changes his mind.
Yeah, so Gronholm cutting in front of him and braking. It would have made sense really for Sabo to brake and follow him. Instead, he ended up getting caught up beside Parsons for the race.
Yeah, so last minute change of mind. So watch this one. Baumanis touch on Hansen, boom, into the side, the rear, backwards up the joker. Both these guys got a DNF because of this.
Yeah, it was just a very unlucky incident, I think. Baumanis just cut across the front, not knowing where Timmy was, and made contact.
This was onto Q2. Baumanis, of course, in the first race with the Ritter, thanks to that retirement. Whole shot and an easy win for the Latvian here. So he managed to move back up the standings thanks to that. He's got to get a good start. So here's Sabo again. This time he's really defensive when he goes joker.
Yeah, and a very decisive move this time as well, not braking on the way into the standard to go to the standard lap and then holding the inside through the whole of the joker.
So here he checks everyone up, makes sure no one can get him on the exit. Very nicely done. So on the inside here, Scheider, but on the outside you can see Markland forcing Kevin Hansen wide. Kevin tried to get back up underneath him, but there was no way.
No, so Markland holding an inside line there like he had every right to do, and just shut the door on Kevin. Kevin couldn't do anything from that.
Tidy work from Anton Markland. This was the final start of Q2. GRX splitting the strategy. Watching for Kevin Ambring though in the background. Look, he gets up underneath Andreas Backward and Timmy Hansen here.
Yeah, so Timmy opting to go for the standard lap from there, being hung out to dry by Andreas and then make contact, and that just opened the door for Ambring.
So you can see on board with Andreas Backward here. Watch for the GRX split strategy. Off goes Timmer. Nick Vasco standard lap. Backward has a look, then he opens the throttle up. Watch for Ambring on the right-hand side. Tidily done, yo. Okay, tiny bit of rallycross at the start of his career, but that was great awareness from Kevin Ambring to slot underneath two of the best drivers in the World Rallycross Championship and nick that P2. So start here at Hell, absolutely crucial. Hello, my name's Andrew Coley. I will be your commentator this weekend. Joining me on commentary, Dan Rook, and of course reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid, Laura Winter. Here's how we stand as we go into Q3. Niklas Gronholm leading, having won both the sessions yesterday. Then it's Timozyanov, Scheider, Backward, Timmy Hansen, Markland, Kevin Hansen, Cyril Raymond. At the minute, Ambring, Baumanis, Sabo and Doran are in, but those places are up for grabs. First World RX race of Sunday morning. Kevin Ambring goes standard lap with the whole shot while Baciuska goes out to the joker. Elevation change here is incredible. You can see the cars picking up wheels as they dive down the hill. This was the merge. Ambring in front of Baciuska. Baciuska gave him a little tap, which Ambring said great to get his first hit in Rallycross. And I'm sure great to get his first heat race win as well. On to race 2, Liam Doran heading to the Joker lap. Look at the style of the man in here. On the handbrake super early, full throttle and around the apex to rejoin the track. On the main circuit, meanwhile, Parsonen and Schiescher have been in a fight. That gave Liam enough room to come out in front. Parsonen sideways. Schiescher gets underneath him and takes the place. Parsonen sideways again at the bottom of the hill on the brakes. Dropped it and gave away another position to De Ridder. Doran wins, but he wasn't that happy with the time. Right then, let's take a look at the grid for Q3 race 3. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen on the inside, side by side. Cyril Raymond, Christian Sabo and Andreas Backerud. New boots for Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen. Neither of them having a great weekend by their standards. 5th for Timmy and it's 7th for Kevin. Backerud taking a couple of new tyres as well. If you had to put money on, well, Timmy and Kevin will do one or two things. Either split the strategy or go line astern in turn 1. But let's have a look and see. Got to win the start first. Backerud with a better start than Sabo on the outside, but very even across the grid. Cyril Raymond in there too. Kevin Hansen goes Joker. Timmy Hansen goes standard lap. Pretty much what we expected. Backerud going to try and get underneath Kevin on the exit. Gets into his door, but Kevin Hansen has beaten Backerud down into the second corner, and Backerud is behind him, so that's not what Andreas wanted.
No, not what Andreas wanted at all, but I'm sure, as we all expected, Kevin going for the Joker lap, just to give Timmy that little bit of extra room as well, and splitting the strategy. They're now going to be racing against each other on the clock.
Safest thing to do, though, absolutely. You know, if there's contact in one part of the lap or the other, you don't lose both cars in terms of the timesheets. Timmy Hansen not having a great day yesterday, just didn't go his way, didn't get clear track. We know Timmy loves a bit of clear track, and this now is the time for him to show he's got the pace that he's had all year.
Yeah, so not a good day for him yesterday. Contact with Balmanis and then not the clear track, like you say. But, I mean, it's fair to say the track might not be fully clear now. You can see there's a massive dust cloud lingering on the exit of turn 1 into turn 2, so they're going to be struggling to spot their braking points as they drop down the hill.
Cyril Raymond with a tiny nudge from Sabo. You ride on board with Sabo now as we come up the hill. Stay on the right, then look on the brakes, flick it in left. Look at the dust, look at the barrier. Did Raymond clip the barrier on the way in? It was super tight into that last corner, feeding the power on. It's just spectacular stuff. Cyril Raymond doing a brilliant job, as always, in the GCK. Cleo Sabo up the inside. Contact between them. Great attempt by Sabo, but didn't make it work. Cyril Raymond is sideways on the way down to the next one. Sabo going to look up the inside, can't find a way through. Meanwhile, Timmy Hansen has done the Enox fastest lap of the day. So Sabo is frustrated here. He can't find a way through there. On board again. Looks to the side. He's like, come on, out of the way, Cyril. Cyril Raymond holding onto the position beautifully.
Yeah, Cyril just a little bit too sideways there, of course. Fully blocked. Kevin Hansen now on the back of them, so this is going to be holding Kevin Hansen up. And meanwhile, Timmy Hansen's already pulled a gap to Cyril, who's still yet to take the Joker.
Here we go then. Timmy Hansen about to head into the Joker. The other guy's going to Joker too. Timmy Hansen goes sideways style. Another fastest lap of the day, 38.4. 2 in a row. Hansen is laying it down as we head into day 2 for World RX. Kevin Hansen comes through for P2. Cyril Raymond and Christian Sabo cost themselves too much time.
Yeah, far too much time. You can just see how far they've dropped off the back, and well, could well have held up Kevin and Andreas there as well. So not a fantastic race for the two at the back.
On board with Backerud, up the hill, into that left-hander. You can see those two Peugeots in front of him. What's Timmy Hansen going to do this time with the clocks? The Peugeot jumps over the line to take the win. He goes faster than Ambring by 2 seconds. It's a 2:43.0. But that would not have been enough yesterday, not by a long way. So Gronholm yesterday was doing 2:39s and 2:40s. Timmy with a 2:41, sorry, 2:43 was the time of the previous leader. So Hansen's done a 2:41. Okay, that's much more like it, but still a second to find to match the pace of the GRX cars. So we'll have to see. Of course, we don't know track conditions. I think the track, maybe Dan said, the dust, maybe it's a little bit slower today. But Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen with a great recovery. Timmy takes the win and at the minute tops the standings in Q3 with a great time.
Timmy, that's a bit more like it. I know you were very frustrated yesterday with your performances in Q1 and Q2, despite picking up a race win. You had a very clinical race out in front. There was all sorts of carnage behind. How happy are you with that?
I'm so happy. We've got the car perfectly dialed in now. It is a difficult track. It's different in the setup, but we are there. The run felt amazing. All 4 laps were spot on. Just, you know, fine-tuning with the last few hundreds on the lap time. And yeah, this was one of those brilliant runs that I'm super happy about. And I really hope it's enough now to beat Grönholm.
Here we go then, the final race of Q3. Let's see the lineup for race 4. Niklas Grönholm on the inside with Timo Scheider next to him. Then it's Timur Timosyanov, Yannis Baumanis and Anton Markland. So Marshall's leaving the grid now. But I think we're about to get this one underway. There's the view of Markland and Markland's view of the lights. Ready to race, here we go. So even across the grid, Scheider got a good start on the inside. Timosyanov going to go in front, contact between him. Grönholm takes the standard lap, Timosyanov goes Joker. WRX doing exactly what they did yesterday, and for me this has played into massively into Timmer's hands.
Yeah, Timosyanov's going to be rubbing his hands together here now. He just has to put his foot down and try and catch back up to the guys here. 4 of them gone standard lap. You can just see how much of a traffic jam it looks, especially these tight corners. They all go the concertina effect, backing each other up, and Timosyanov can just hammer it.
There's a bit of me here that thinks Grönholm out front, obviously he's in the same place as Timmer. He's got clear track in front of him, but he knows Timmer went Joker on his own. If you GRX, do you now Joker Grönholm to protect from your own teammate? Or go, don't worry about it, he's our teammate. It's a tough decision. Oh, smoke from the rear of Grönholm's car. So there's smoke from the contact. They must be on the way into turn 1. Markland goes Joker, but Timosyanov is miles in front of him already.
You can see Timosyanov is already on the back of the train from the guys there, so he is really putting the hammer down. Hopefully the smoke off Grönholm's car isn't going to cause a puncture. I'd imagine it's just bodywork rubbed against the tyre, but...
It's a fair bit of smoke though, isn't it? You know, you see just a little bit, but not so much here. You'll see it on the braking zone into turn 1 the most. Grönholm up and over that crest. Into the right-hander. Scheider's right with him. Timo Scheider had a fantastic yesterday, 6th and 2nd. But we're all looking at Timosyanov. We're going to have a look at his lap times and see whether or not he's on the same pace as Hansen, because we don't know how quick this track is. Timosyanov in the standard lap. Baumanis has got Joker, and Timur is miles in front of him as well. Baumanis going to come out. Where is he? Alongside Markland, inside Markland, just behind him. So Markland holds on at the minute. Timur's going to come out a 2nd in front of Niklas.
Yeah, so he looks like he's going to be on to win the race here, but his lap time indicates his fastest lap was 4 tenths off the back of Timmy Hansen. Of course, still 2 more laps to go, but he's currently not quite on the pace of Timmy.
Well, Timmy Hansen said, didn't he, after his race, that felt like one of those perfect runs. We weren't sure because Niklas had gone a 2nd quicker on both his runs yesterday, but of course that was yesterday. Track conditions today are different. Grönholm goes Joker. Scheider goes in as well. Look for Timmer on the inside. Timosyanov's going to take this, surely. The teammates won't have contact in turn 2. They don't. Says Timosyanov from Grönholm now. They're chasing just the clock.
Yeah, so the clock is ticking away for Timosyanov, and he put in a 39.2 the last lap, so not a good lap at all from Timosyanov on the last run. But we're going to watch now and see what happens.
So 2:41.084. Timosyanov chasing down Hansen's time. It's looking good for Timmy. What's the Russian got through the last turn? Grönholm is right with him. Up to the line, Timmy Hansen's got it. So they can't match the time. Timosyanov is slower, goes 3rd. So in fact, it's going to be a 1-2 then for the Hansen brothers. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen going quickest in this session. And Timmy's assessment of it being a perfect run was absolutely bang on, because that was a decent run by Timosyanov, but the time is not there. So Timmer, 2:42.6. Then it's Niklas Grönholm with a 2:43.1. Markland, Scheider and Baumanis. Let's see where these guys slot in. And you can see there, so Timosyanov goes into P3. Timmy Hansen wins Q3. Kevin is 2nd, and my goodness me, we've got a fight in hands. Look at Kevin Abring up in P4. So going to see what happens to the standings here. I think Niklas is going to hold on to the TQ spot, but stay with us and we'll bring you the standings.
Timur, a shake of the head there and a slight frown on your face. What do you make of that?
Yeah, actually that was a good run with a lot of mistakes on the track. I can say that it was not so clean. I don't know how far we are from the first place, but yeah, it should be better. I have a chance to be in front of all the grid, but I done some mistakes by myself. That is not clear. That is not clean for the driver's side.
Okay, better luck for Q4. Thanks.
Right, let's take a look at the standings at the end of Q3. Niklas Gronholm is still on the TQ spot. It's Timmy Hansen, though, that moves up to P2, demoting Timozyanov by 1 place. You can still see Gronholm has a decent lead at the top of the standings, but Timozyanov and Timmy Hansen only 2 points apart. So going to come down to Q4 as to who's going to take second and pole in Semi-2. Two of the Hyundais look at P1 and P3. Then it's Scheider in P4. Kevin Hansen is up to P5. Backwards down in P6. Mark and Kevin Abbring is 8th. Fantastic on his debut in World Rallycross. Bachuska's into the top 12. Liam Doran is in 10th. It's Cyril Raymond and Janis Baumanis down in 12th. So Sabo, look, at the minute is outside the top 12, and he's really going to want to make a move on that. Well, as always, some fantastic slow motion pictures for you. We're going to start with Niklas Gronholm making his return this weekend through one of the tight right-handers here at the circuit at Hell. Dan, such a tricky technical track.
Yeah, really difficult. There's so many aspects here that the guys have to try and get right, and this being one of them. We're watching Baumanis in the Joker lap. Really thick gravel Joker lap here. We can see he's rotated the car so early before he's even got to the apex, and then using the full drive of the car to drive himself out of the corner.
Often hearing people on the rev limiter there trying desperately hard to get the car straight. Now this is Bennett, Dan, and he clips the curbs here, and it's not ideal because the curbs are so big.
Yeah, he didn't touch it too much, as you can see, but it was just enough to throw him slightly offline on his way down to turn 2 and not getting the ideal exit.
Gets out onto the loose gravel, just runs him a bit wide. Timo Scheider, look, laying down huge black lines, 600 horsepower early in practice. This was before the track is cleaned up and rubbered in. And that's the hairpin which drops away for the run down the hill. It's just corner to corner to corner all the way around this track.
Yeah, and this left-hand hairpin that he's just been down is super blind for the drivers. They sit really low in the cars, as we're watching now. Timozyanov going around that corner, keeping a tighter line there than Timo Scheider. But yeah, it's a blind corner for these guys. It's so steep that you cannot see the apex of the corner.
So you've got to get it right on the way in, make sure the car is facing exactly where you want it to. Look how committed Timmer is through that next right. Liam Doran sliding into the front of our shot as well. This is backward, up and over the second to last corner. Left-hander down, they need to hug that Armco on the left there and hope as well the bumps don't get too bad.
Yeah, so coming in there so committed and starting to turn the car sideways before they get to the corner, and then using the compression, as we see from behind now, Kevin Hansen on the same corner, using the compression as they go down through the dip to regain the grip before they brake hard for the last corner.
Kevin Hansen getting possibly a little bit deep there, I think, in the left-hander before the hairpin, which will compromise his line just a little bit. Flicking it around to the right, it's steep uphill from there. This whole track is steep down. You're either looking for exit speed up the hill or to keep control of the car down the hill.
It's so difficult to get right. As we're watching Timozyanov there on that last corner, hugging it tight on the way into the corner, then just running that front wheel along the white line all the way around. Slight bit of understeer as you kind of expect running uphill, but then it's uphill along to the finish now.
Bachuska in the third McGann this weekend, and that is the run up to the line. Who is going to see the checkered flag first? There's just one qualifying session left to go here in Norway. Here's how we stand going into Q4. Niklas Gronholm at the top of the table. Timmy Hansen, though, chasing him down. Timozyanov, Scheider, Hansen backward. Mark and Kevin Abbring up in 8th. Fantastic performance by him. At the minute, Bachuska, Doran, Raymond and Baumanis are in. But Sabo and Shishrit will be looking for a spot in the semis. Race 1, Ollie Bennett on the inside, Guillaume de Ridder in the middle and Parsonen on the outside. Parsonen got the whole shot, de Ridder chose to joker early and Bennett changed his mind and went with him. Unfortunately, at the very next corner, de Ridder got too late on the brakes, found himself wide, got on the handbrake but stalled the engine and lost a ton of time letting the Brit through. Parsonen out front, spectacular driving, took the checkered flag. Here we go then, race 2, Q4. Janis Baumanis on the inside, P12 after Q3, needs to get himself a bit safer. Shishrit looking to grab a spot, Cyril Raymond slightly safer in 11th, Christian Sabo in 13th, and you can see here they're all risking a couple of boots. Shishrit 4 tyres in the hopes they can make it through to the final stage of the day, the semi-finals. Baumanis is going to want to win the start, along with Raymond. Well, they're all going to want to win it, aren't they? But particularly on the inside, doesn't want to give away that advantage of pole. Great start, Shishirit, absolutely fantastic start. So Baumanis has lost the start. He's going to have to start in behind the Frenchman. Sabo goes up to the joke lap, but Cyril Raymond is on his inside. Cyril Raymond gives him a tap on the outside. So Sabo's lost out here. He's in the dust of Raymond. He's P4 at the minute. And it is indeed Shishirit that leads Baumanis on the standard lap.
Yeah, so the GCK boys and the Academy guys splitting the strategy there to defend, of course, and split, you know, see what they can do with them both on a different run.
Shishirit moving around on the brakes in that top section there. Larson was saying the holes down the bottom, but I think we're seeing some over the crest left there as well. Cyril Raymond will be very happy. So he's P11 at the minute, and he's in front of Sabo. So Sabo is down in P13. Sabo going to miss out on the semis potentially, Dan. Not a great result for him.
Yeah, really not a very good weekend for Sabo. We normally see him on a strong form, but I think he's probably been unlucky with traffic here, it's fair to say, but
if he misses it, it's the first time he's missed the semis this year, so he will be very disappointed if he does. Cyril Raymond just in front of him and really on board with him now. Here we go, Sabo up the hill. Look at the dust down. Like, how do you pick a spot when you've got to nudge that rail on the left-hand side? It's so hard.
It is. It's super difficult because these guys, they're trying to drive blind, and you've got 600 horsepower on a loose gravel track. Like, how is it? It's so tricky.
Baumanis so sideways in the Joker, trying to come out in front of Cyril Raymond. He's going to be on the inside, but he's going to be close on the merge. Raymond trying to look up the inside, but Baumanis with a great Joker, brave on the brakes as well, just holds the position. So now it's up to Shishirit to try and take this one. Galan Shishirit down in P14. It would be possible maybe to make the semis if he sets a brilliant time. Sabo's had a disaster here. He's got to hope all these guys go fast as well and that somebody else has a problem too. Flinging it around to the right now. Here's the view from Sabo's car. Up that very steep hill towards the jump on the gas. Wait for it. A little bit of RPM as he comes up over into the Joker lap. Shishirit's done a great Joker. Shishirit with a brilliant Joker. He's going to hold off Baumanis too. Baumanis is late on the brakes, but he avoids the rear. Tries to look up the inside. Can't do it though. So Shishirit leads. Brilliant drive by the Frenchman. This is the sort of thing that can drag you into the semis, Dan.
Yeah, this is exactly what he needed. And, you know, some of the guys that are behind him, well, all of the guys that are behind him were the ones that are in front of him in the standings. So he had to get this job done, and he's done it.
Shishirit then with a brilliant drive, got the start, has put the laps in, put in a fantastic Joker as well. Desperate to make it to the semis. Will this be enough? He's going to cross the line now. Goes fastest with a 2:43.3. So that is a time that would have seen him up in P6 in the previous session. So Shishirit has done a good job. He's beaten the guys who are ahead of him in the standings. That's all he can do. He's got to wait and see what everyone else does now. Galan Shishirit with the win from Baumanis, Raymond and Sabo. See Baumanis and Shishirit go up to the top there. Parson is into P3, Cyril Raymond and Sabo ahead of Bennett and De Ridder. So great drive, Galan Shishirit. So Shishirit had obviously discussed in detail what to do with the starts, particularly with Baumanis on his inside. He got the start he needed and could execute one of the plans they'd made. You've got to make multiple plans down, particularly with the first corner Joker.
Yeah, it is really hard here for them to plan what to do, especially when, you know, you don't know what the other guys are doing. But luckily for the GCK guys, 2 out of the 4 cars in there were able to be controlled what they do in turn 1.
Yeah, so you know you're going to at least lose 1 car off to the Joker, don't you? So great tactics by GCK, but it really is difficult. So when you've got that option, you either win or lose. On a track where there's no Joker in turn 1, it's pretty easy, isn't it? You either win or lose the start. You've got maybe 4 or 5 corners, except for Holliers coming next where it's turn 2, where you can pick a strategy. But here, with the Joker on lap 1, you've got to make multiple plans for what happens off the start. Shishirit made those plans with his team, and he executed it perfectly. So maybe it'll be enough to see him in the semis. We haven't got long to wait to find out. Cars are on the grid and good to go. Let's take a look at the lineup for race 3. Rokas Baciuska is on the pole, Andreas Backwood next to him, then it's Markland, Liam Doran and Timo Scheider. Look at their positions. 9th for Baciuska, 6th for Backwood, 2 new tyres, 7th for Markland, 2 new tyres. Scheider is 4th, 1 new tyre. Is he saving something for the semis? Liam Doran is 10th on used tyres. I think he used 4 in the last one, so Liam's going to have to go for it here, wants to try and move a little bit up, not be on the back row. Monster Energy RX Cartel can split the strategy here, as can Baciuska and Markland. Scheider, a lone operator on the outside. Great start across the grid. Markham maybe edging backward on the run to turn one. Backward's going to get squeezed. Where's he going to go? Goes Joker. Doran round the outside, backward round the inside. He's in the dust. Liam's run wide. Backward gets the three of them. Markham holding on. Liam having a look up the inside on the brakes to turn two. Markham going to hold on. Fantastic from backward on the inside there. Super brave.
Yeah, really brave. And I'm really actually quite surprised that they didn't send Liam into the standard lap knowing that Andreas would be going into the Joker lap. But it might have been a last-minute decision on the way down to turn one. Maybe not quite in their plan, but it didn't quite work out for Liam, but it has really worked out for Andreas.
So backward 3.3 off the back of Scheider. He's close enough after that Joker that Scheider's going to need another lap if he wants to edge him. Got to see whether or not he can make up enough time unless he decides to go Joker now. He doesn't, and the gap's come down. Andreas backwards taking 2/10 off Scheider. Going to try and get to him. Gap is 3.1 at the minute. You can see it go backwards way. Joker predictor bottom right of your screen. This is going to go backwards way unless Scheider can find some pace.
Yeah, Andreas is really on a big charge here. Now he really needed this. You know, he was down in 6th place after Q3, which wasn't what he wanted to be doing in his home event. As we ride on board with him now, you can see the dust in front of him. It is so hard for visibility, even though he is that bit further back on the track.
Backward Blue fans will be waiting with anticipation up at the top. They'll be coiled and ready to go mad if he wins this one. He'd like to move up and get himself up into the front rows if he can. Baciuszka goes Joker from P2, but Backward's got him already. Should hold on to P3. So Andreas Backward with incredible tactics up in turn one. Super aggressive, but somehow it paid off. That really was. It was all or nothing from Backward.
Yeah, he really needed that. As we're looking at Markland, they're going a bit slow. He's dropped off the back, so maybe Markland picked up some damage off of that. But it's all about what's happening out front, and Scheider isn't able to pull the gap out to Backward.
3.1 seconds is the gap. Scheider's been quick all weekend, but Backward has got the bit between his teeth here. Timo Scheider's going to go Joker. He's currently sitting P4. Backward's down in P6. He's close on the point standings. There's only a couple of points in it. Could Backward get himself on the front row here in Norway? Going to come out just in front of Timo Scheider. Backward's got it on the Joker. Fantastic for him. Scheider will be disappointed. We know he's quick on board now. Down towards the bottom, the Norwegian, desperate. What can he do? Can he win at home? He so wants to win. He had that clean sweep here in 2016. He hasn't won since 2016. They know what he's doing here. He's gone all in on the Joker lap on lap one, and it's going to pay off. Backward coming round now to the final corner. Going to take this one. Where's he going to stop the clocks? The time of 2:43.3 is the target. He goes top. 2:41.9 for Backward. It would have been enough for P2 in Q3. That is a great time from the Audi man. His hopes are back, and so is that for his fans. He got Scheider. My goodness me, I cannot wait to see turn one again, because that was mega. Oh, look at Markland's car. How's he got that round?
I think that must have been from the Joker lap with Andreas. That's big damage to the front of that car.
Markland was P7, so he needed to get this finished. That's a disaster for him. Sabo's 13th. And the points are close, all to play for. You have to wait to the end of the session. Backward has taken it, going all in turn one. Scheider is P2, then it's Baciuszka, Doran and Markland. Here is where they slot in. Top of the table for Backward and Scheider. That was a hell of a race.
Well, that's a bit more like it, isn't it, Andreas? You went into that all or nothing. Talk me through the strategy, especially off that first turn.
Yeah, I mean, first I want to have a good start and go inside and actually win the start and do the normal line, but it was so tight out there. I mean, I think even Anton was a bit ahead of me, the same as Liam. Going into the Joker there, 3 cars, I was on the inside, so I was lucky. We all had way too much speed. I don't know how everything ended up, but it was a good Joker. The speed is not quite there. We would like to go faster, but enjoyed having a home soil heat win at least. So happy with that. We just need to do some more tweaking, and we have tried everything basically this weekend. I don't know. We tried to push, but we're not quite there.
Here's a look at the replays from that one. Watch for Backward here. He goes absolutely all in. You're with Mark, and he comes across the curb. Hang on a minute. There's Doran outside me. There's Backward inside me. Liam's outside. He's on the gas. Can't come through. At this point, Markland's car's okay. So where was the damage? Here it is again. Time there. There's nothing amiss to me there. I reckon the Markland damage came later because it was rear quarter, was it? Is it contact with Liam on the brakes here? I don't think it is. either way, that's brave, Dan.
Yeah, that was really brave. And, well, there, Markland's car just, well, no, don't even know what happened
maybe?
there. But, yeah, Andreas's move was what he needed, and it worked out for him, luckily.
Well, luckily, I think is the key word there. You know, it maybe didn't plan to go that way, but he went that way off the start. Backward went all or nothing. Luckily for him and his fans, he got all as a return. Final race of qualifying coming up, and these two are both in it. Timur Timizyanov and Timmy Hansen. This is how their season's gone. You can see it's been really mixed for them. Of course, a bad one for Timmy back at the start of the year in Abu Dhabi. They've met 8 times on the track through the various parts of the weekend. 50-50, couldn't be closer between them. Shows you the pace of WRX Tanaco this year, doesn't it? Qualifying race wins, look, 13 for Timmy, only 2 for Timur. Semi-finals, 2 for Timmy, but there was that win for Timur back at Spa, and 2 for Timmy so far this year. Let's see the grid then for the final race of qualifying from round 5 of the FA World Rallycross Championship from Hell in Norway. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen inside. They split the strategy last time. Timmy is P2, Kevin P5. Timizyanov, look, is 3rd. Kevin Abbring is in 8th, which is amazing on his World Rallycross debut. Niklas Gronholm, coming back from 6 weeks off after a terrible appendicitis, is 1st after Q3. Timmy Hansen has him in his sights, and Gronholm is in a not ideal grid slot, so a lot to play for here. Here we go. Green light, Gronholm's got a great start. Abbring drops back, that's going to help Gronholm out. Timizyanov puts a squeeze on both the Hansens. Gronholm goes Joker 1. Great tactics from Timizyanov. Moves across, squeezes both the Hansen brothers. So both the GRX cars have gone into the Joker on lap 1. Both the Hansen cars are about to go towards the standard lap. Now, last time they split the strategy, did Timur force them to go the same way? Yeah, I think there must have been some talks wanting to get Gronholm onto the top step of qualifying. So really closed the gap on them, and it was a big squeeze. I thought we were seeing Timizyanov go into the standard lap, and then he just got back on the gas and got in front of them. They knew Kevin wanted to go Joker, didn't they? Or that's what we think anyway. So Kevin now's gone with his brother. I wonder if they'll change the strategy. We don't know what the strategy was. We're guessing, but that was what they did last time. Kevin Abbring, bad start, but on the back of these two here, didn't go his way. He's going to make the semi-finals unless he has a disaster here. So Gronholm to Timizyanov. To Hansen, look at the gap, bottom right of your screen. At the minute, Gronholm would get it. So Gronholm's got it at the minute. Yeah, Gronholm won a big charge, and that's probably what he needed to... he had quite a few points anyway, but he wants to really stamp his ground. Now, the nice thing about this is that the Hansen team, for Gronholm, the nice thing is they can't respond by sending him on the next lap because the gap isn't big enough. So the only thing they can do is hang Timmy out there and tell him to push. Yeah, because Timmy needs that clear air in front of him, but we're going to see as Gronholm cross the line. The gap hasn't changed, so he is still on for the win of this race. So Gronholm, 3 seconds off the back of Timmy Hansen. We reckon if the Joker's perfect, you're going to need about 3.5. You're right on board with Kevin. His brother has edged him just a little bit down towards the bottom of the hill. Bit of handbrake on the way, and Kevin Abbring's going with him. How good is Kevin Abbring? Yeah, fantastic, and I mean, what better people to follow than the Hansens to try and learn your way in rallycross. Yeah, and he won't mind that at all. We know he can handle a car. He knows he's got some stuff to learn in rallycross, and he's got a couple of great tutors in front of him. So what's the gap this time? 3.0 last time round. Wait for Gronholm to cross the line. Watch the timing at the top. 3.1. Hansen's got another 10th. Gronholm on the inside. Hansen's run a bit deep. Niklas Gronholm shortly going to try and shut the door. Timmy Hansen looking for the inside line. Late on the brakes, but Gronholm's got it. Hansen locked up. Ran a tiny bit wide. Timizyanov has been got by both the Hansens. Has a look up the inside of Kevin, but can't make it stick. Yeah, so Gronholm there really did his hard work and got the Joker lap done on lap 1 and put in the solid lap times. So Niklas Gronholm then won both the sessions yesterday, coming back from that appendicitis. It was an incredible performance. He wasn't on it in Q3, he was P5. He needed to get the job done in Q4. He's going to take the win here ahead of Hansen, and that's going to secure him the top qualifier spot in Norway. What a return for Niklas Gronholm, brilliant. 2:41.9. Brilliant time by Niklas Gronholm. 2:41.0. The previous target time was 2:41.9. He's taken a 2:41.0. 0.8 of ahead of Timmy. It doesn't matter. He just had to beat Timmy. They got it done with brilliant tactics into the first corner. Kevin 3rd, Timizyanov. Kevin Abbring does well down in 5th. Here's where they slot in. So Niklas, Timmy, Andreas Backerud's got third. It's a great result for the Norwegian. I can't wait to see the standings. Kevin Hansen fourth, Timmers Janov sixth, maybe sacrifice some pace there to help his teammate. Kevin Abbring is in P8. That was fantastic. Take a look at this then, Dan. Off the line, Timmers Janov, I am sure here this is a team move.
Yeah, so Timmers Janov there putting the squeeze on the brakes, and then, oh no, I think he did want to go standard lap, but just ran the car too deep, but was really good to squeeze Kevin out and then put the pressure on Timmy.
Yeah,
Timmy ran wide in turn one, and then Timmers Janov had to go into the Joker lap because he had no chance of getting around there.
And it actually, so if Timmers Janov had chosen to go Joker, so okay, squeeze Kevin, good on him, you know, he's got to try and take the position. He wanted to go standard. If he had gone the standard lap, or if he had chosen even better to Joker earlier, he might have been up in front of Kevin and Timmy Hansen. But whatever happens, the tactics went in the favour of Niklas Gronholm. I think Timmy Hansen possibly slightly wide in the Joker lap. Comes into the merge, on board with Kevin. You can see Timmy is in P2, and that is it. Job done. Niklas Gronholm takes TQ.
Niklas, another qualifying win, fastest time we saw in that one, and you beat Timmy Hansen there fair and square. A great Joker strategy too, taking it on the first lap. Talk me through it.
Yeah, that was the plan all the way. If I get a good launch, I take the Joker. I had, you know, no chance to get inside because everyone are so fast off the line and so on. So yeah, it was a good strategy and it worked out surprisingly well.
Well, here are the standings then at the end of Q4. Niklas Gronholm has taken TQ. Unbelievable. 3 session wins. He did it when it counted and stamped his authority on Q4. Timmy Hansen is in P2. Timmers Janov is third, so it's a GRX front row. And then Backerud has made it up to fourth. Timmy Hansen versus Andreas Backerud into turn one in Norway. Fantastic. Kevin Hansen fifth, Scheider, Kevin Abbring in seventh, Markland holds on in eighth despite that problem in the last session. Bachuska's in, Baumanis, Cyril Raymond and Gulan Shisrit did enough to make it, but he's knocked out Liam Doran. Doran doesn't make the cut in Norway. This weekend sees round 4 of the RX2 International Series. We've got the final for you coming up. Let's take a look at what happened in the semis. So Dan, row 1 here, pretty standard tactics from OMSE. Ericsson went to the standard lap and they sent McConnell to the Joker.
Yeah, so the best idea for them to split the strategy and give their drivers both the best opportunity for them to try and make the most of it. We see a move there.
Sammy Matty-Trogan holding on to his position, wasn't it, on the exit of the Joker lap. Ericsson out front. Lap times wise, McConnell was doing similar lap times to Ericsson, wasn't he? But unfortunately got caught up just on the previous lap to Ericsson taking his Joker.
Yeah, so McConnell there really showing impressive pace and looking like he could... Oh,
big move from Trogan, and that was the impact, wasn't it? Which unfortunately cost him big time. So he was still holding a position at the bottom of the hill here, but bits flying off Trogan's car. He's been P4 every event this year, but a move desperate to try and make it through to the final meant that in fact he definitely won't. On to semi-final number 2. Ben Philip Gunderson on the pole in this one with Jesse Callio alongside. Steve Volders in the background there. Volders going Joker lap on lap 1. So again, people splitting the strategy, I think it's pretty standard in hell.
Yeah, fairly standard, because there's no way, especially if they're in a line of cars like they start in the semi, there's not very much chance of cutting yourself into the inside to go standard lap. So the outside three opting to go for the Joker.
Ben Philip Gunderson coming through to take the lead. Callio in P2, and it's Stephen Volders putting himself in third place to go through to his first ever RX2 final. Here we go then, final time for RX2. Let's take a look at the grid. Oliver Eriksson on the pole, looking to take a 4th win from 4. Next to him, Ben Philip Gunderson looking to deny him and take his first win of the season. Fraser McConnell won last weekend in ARX. Can he do the same here this weekend? Jesse Callio P2 in the championship, 3 podiums in a row. On the back row, Marcus Hogland and Steve Volders. Wait for those revs to rise. Here we go. So a long old hold, very quick reaction times for everyone. Kallio maybe with a clutch kick to get the car away from the line. Volders moving across the back row. Inside, oh, Gundersen's going to go. Is it Gundersen? I think slotted in. Volders as well. And in fact, it was McConnell who managed to get out to the Joker. I could not see a way for McConnell to get through to the Joker from the inside line, but somehow he has. When Gundersen slotted in, maybe that opened the door for him, but it's Ericsson leading at the minute.
Yeah, so Ericsson there getting a fantastic launch away, enough so that Gundersen's able to slot in behind him, so he must have pulled a car length just off the line there. So, tapping the wall.
Ericsson tapped the wall on the way into the left-hander as he damaged the front left. Looks like it's okay at the minute, but Dan, that's not ideal in an RX2 car.
No, not at all. These cars, you know, they're not overly strong. Of course, they are very strong in general, safety-wise, but wishbones and things like that, they're more designed to break.
Volders has gone Joker. This is to try and protect his position from behind, where we've got Kallio and McConnell who went on lap 1. McConnell might come under pressure here. Volders on the inside, where they're going to come out from the dirt. Volders has got him, so Steve Volders doing a great job, makes it through to his first final. He's already guaranteed himself a fifth. Long way to go, but
yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. His first time in the final, and we've not seen, you know, massive pace from him all weekend until the semi-final where he made it through, and then now still putting in good lap times. And yeah, really good showing by Steve Volders.
Yeah, he was up in P8 during qualifying, and that's yeah, he was Q9 at Silverstone, so he's getting better pretty much on each outing. Ericsson still leads. Looks like there's no problem with the steering. Gundersen and Hogland. So we've got two sets of three now down, and again pretty standard. McConnell's missed out. He'd been disappointed after a brilliant run last weekend. He was on fire out in Mid-Ohio in ARX2, but still he's in the final. That's where he needs to be. The top three in the championship are Ericsson, Kallio and McConnell, and they're all in this final. So McConnell piling the pressure on. Volders going to have to try and find a way through. We have seen some passing, but it is pretty tough to find a way through here.
Yeah, it is really hard, and you can see there's a single file line as they come down through the loose section. If they were to dip off of that, they go into like a really thick gravel, and it would just slow these cars down, especially with these cars that, you know, naturally aspirated half the power of a supercar.
Gundersen goes Joker. Watch for Gundersen's merge. In he goes. He's looking to try and get out in front of those three cars in a train. Going to come out in front of Kallio. Nicely done. So Ben Philip Gundersen has jokered and now leads that pack. It's just Ericsson and Hogland to go. Hogland on 3 seconds. Look, he could potentially, if Hogland went now, he could potentially get Volders. I think it would be worth it, but maybe he's going to hang on and see if they squabble behind him, thinks he can grab another position.
Ericsson's lap times here are so impressive. He is the only driver now to broken into the 40-second lap time. Everyone else lapping in 41s, Ericsson in the 40s. And he's just showing supreme class. I don't think we're yet to see lap times like that from the RX2 boys.
No, absolutely brilliant performance by him. Hogland does go, so Hogland now hoping, he knows he won't get P2 or 3. He's hoping he can slot into 4th place. Going to be inside Volders on the braking zone. Where's Volders? He's behind him. So he does get him, so Hogland holds on, and it's just Ericsson to Joker on the last lap. And that, you know, you've got to be seriously calm to just know you're going to do it last lap every time.
Yeah, but you can just see the gap that Ericsson has to Gundersen. 5.9, it just went up from 5.7 to 5.9. That's, you know, it's getting on nearly double the time that he needs to do the Joker.
It's great for Ericsson. It's soul destroying for all the other spotters in the tower. His spotter will be onto him now. Ericsson goes Joker. Look for a lovely, smooth, arcing line of gravel. Turns the car in, gets on the gas down. He's a weapon in this car.
Yeah, he is so precise, and we've seen it every event this year, just how much the seat time he has had in these things has paid off, and you can just see the gap he's got to Gundersen. You know, Gundersen's no slouch, and Ericsson's just gone.
He has checked out. Fantastic drive for him. Bottom of the hill, just a couple of corners to go. Decent battle at the back between Volders and McConnell, but this one is about Ericsson again. He took a perfect score at the first two rounds. He's dropped 1 point, actually was in Belgium. Here, though, it's another perfect score. 3 qualifying sessions. He wins the semi and his 4th final in a row. Ericsson has dropped just 1 point in 4 events. It's outrageous, but it's brilliant. Ollie Ericsson wins round 4 of the RX2 International Series presented by Cooper Tyres. There it is. Top of the table, Ben Philip Gundersen second, then Jesse Kallio, Marcus Hogland and Steve Volders with great results. Fraser McConnell in P6 here in Norway. Let's a look at the start from the back of the grid. So Fraser here I thought was completely boxed in, but look, I think Gundersen just slots in. In fact, so he went quite late, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to really anchor up on the brakes. He had no way to get out, and, well, I can see his logic in going to the Joker, but it cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, when Kallio went, Gunderson beat Kallio, didn't he? Kallio then decided to go, and then Fraser was released from the inside, but it's very difficult. I sometimes think that inside slot on Road 2 is the trickiest because you haven't got any space to make space.
No, you kind of have to just go where the cars around you are going, otherwise it's just going to end up in a big tangle.
Great merge here in front of Vol. You can see how dusty it is there. Volder's losing out. No such problems for Kevin Eriksson. We've got three. We've had Andreas Eriksson, we've got Kevin Eriksson. Ollie Eriksson is coming. If you're not aware of him already, what a brilliant season he's having. 4 wins from 4 events. Here are the standings then after round 4, and I said it earlier, 119 points out of 120 is just incredible. Jesse Kallio, P2, Fraser McConnell is in P3. Ben Philip Gunderson up to P4, nicely done by him. He was 6th before this weekend. Then Sami Matti-Trogan, Vasily Gryzin, Simon Olofsson and Anders Michalak. Well, if you hadn't gathered from your pictures, that racing was just a short while ago. We are now getting ready for the semi-finals, and the weather could not be worse. It is torrential rain here in Hell. There is a river running across the track at Turn 1, which you're looking at now. That big screen's just inside Turn 1, and I mean a river. Commentary is about ½ an inch deep in water. We've just had the tech crew come up to move all our electricals off the floor. That's how hard it's rained. Now, it may stop raining, but Dan, this is not going to dry up.
No, not at all. Of course, we've only got 4 races left today.
Yeah.
So this is there's no chance of this getting dried up. There's not even going to be a dry line. There's floods everywhere. It's streaming down the hills. It's soaked.
Nobody has had any wet running here whatsoever. Obviously, they've been out on wet gravel. The gravel is potentially less of an issue, but to be honest with you, I don't think anyone is going to have a Scooby-Doo what the grip levels are like. Everyone is going to be going on wet. I cannot think of any other option. Look at that. The rain is pouring down. You must stay with us because it was looking pretty exciting before. It's now looking unbelievable. So that is the Skoda of Kevin Abbring, which I'm sure will have wets going on to it. Dan, I have to say, when the conditions change like this, I would always put my money on rally drivers. Obviously, Kevin, coming from that background, we used to see this with Solberg. If the conditions changed, he was bang on it straight away.
Yeah, rally drivers, and you can see the standing water that's hanging around the track. But yeah, rally drivers, they, of course, their experience is in tackling roads that they don't know. So they when they go out here, this is now unknown to everybody. So the rally drivers with that experience of the unknown will be able to capitalise.
Yeah, you adapt. Laura is down in the pouring rain. She's managed to grab hold of Susan Hansen. Let's head down there.
We've got Susan here as well. Kevin is just preparing. This weather has come in so quick, hasn't it? What do you think is going to happen? How much of an effect is this going to have on the semi-finals?
Yeah, first of all, of the nerves. Everybody's totally shaken right now and feelings all over. It will affect the racing for sure. We haven't driven 1 meter in these conditions this weekend. Now we are full wet and we have semi-finals coming.
And of your 2 boys, of Kevin, of Timmy, who reacts better to weather like this?
They're actually quite good, both of them, to be flexible in driving. If I need to choose one, maybe Kevin.
Okay, so maybe Kevin will react a bit better. Well, best of luck to Timmy, best of luck to Kevin. Good luck to you and your nerves as well in this weather.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have to say, fair play to Susan as well, because most parents won't pick a child when it comes to anything, and that was live television, and I know Timmy won't mind that. He'll completely understand. So Susan says Kevin might adapt to it better, but, you know, that's not necessarily going to help him because Timmy is on the front row with Andreas Backert. That's where Backert's fans are and were, up on one of the top of the hills. The thing is, Dan, as well, most people, you can see the girl in the T-shirt, there's guys, we were in shorts, I've just stuck a top, it's cold. It was 20-odd degrees, it's still saying that it is, but it definitely isn't. I think it's dropped into the low teens in terms of temperature. Track temperature's kind of irrelevant because you're not going to get to the track.
No, exactly. You're just going to be driving on a surface of water, so the temperature is irrelevant right now. You just want to find the driest line.
I cannot believe the puddle that is in turn one. It's just behind the blue branding in the Joker lap. It's across from the freestyle motocross ramp. You can see there's the Baccarat guys having to cover up the Baccarat blues with some see-through ponchos. They're still cheering for one man, but this is anyone's. Welcome to hell. It's hell for the drivers right now. All we have had all weekend long, if you haven't joined us for the qualifying stages of round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship from Norway, we've had dust, we've had sunshine, we've even had hot, sweaty temperatures today, and in the last 20 minutes, we have had nothing but torrential rain. Not one single car has turned a wheel on this track in these conditions. Yes, now that's what we're talking about when we get down to the business of umbrellas. The man is wearing a chair. I take my hat off to him. He's not going to be taking his hat off. It is a chair. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary is Dan Rook, reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid. In the pouring rain is poor Laura Winter, who's getting soaked on last weekend with us on World Rallycross this year. We're really, really looking forward to this, as I'm sure you can hear from the big smile on my face. It is going to be very interesting indeed. Let's take a look at the form coming into the rain, because you can rip this up right now. Niklas Gronholm takes his first ever top qualifier spot in the World Rallycross Championship after 6 weeks in and out of hospital. Unbelievable. 3 qualifying session wins, including a last one under pressure from Timmy Hansen. He took it, he gets the TQ. Hansen is second, Timosyanov is third, so it's an all GRX front row in one semi. Backward is fourth. That means him and Hansen meet in the other semi. Scheider, Hansen, Abring, Markland, Balmanis, Raymond, Schietrit, and Doran. Doran is in because Bachuska has been disqualified, and that unfortunately is due to touching the launch control button during the lap. He probably did it by accident, but the rules are the rules. If it's in the data, you get disqualified because it can be seen as trying to use it as traction control. It's complicated. So it's Gronholm versus Timosyanov, teammates in semi-final 1. Hansen versus Baccarat, not teammates, in semi-final number 2. Baccarat is desperate for a win at home in Norway. So Laura actually managed to have a catch-up with Andreas Baccarat before it rained. So let's hear what you had to say before the weather changed.
Andreas in the car, ready to go for the semi-final. Your front row, how important is that?
That is very crucial. I mean, we gambled a little bit in Q4, putting the new tires on, so we don't have any new slicks. At the moment, that is paying off because it started raining now, which I like. Obviously, there is a different grip on the start line. There is rubber in the front row, less in the rows behind. So this can be going both ways. Welcome to hell, I said to the guys, and the weather is changing a lot, very fast and very quickly. It looks like there could be a thunderstorm coming in.
You seem quite confident by the weather change. This is obviously something that you're used to, that you enjoy. We've talked about you needing a win, wanting a win so badly. You're getting closer. Q4 was brilliant. What are you expecting from the semi-finals?
Well, to be honest, it's very hard when you're further back fighting for a win here in hell. We've seen before that pole position is a massive advantage, and we're not in pole position, so we need to do the best out of it, and hopefully we can catch up a couple of positions there. It's going to be very, very hard now. I mean, the weather is going to play in a huge difference now, and hopefully we nail the start. That's the key. From there on, everything can happen.
Thanks, Andreas. Good luck.
Everything can happen. Andreas Baccarat is right. All those nut guns going off in the background. People are frantically changing wheels and tyres and settings to get ready for this. Here we go then, semi-final number 1 from round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Hell in Norway. The wipers are on, the wets are on. It has all changed in an instant. Niklas Gronholm is on the pole. He's with the TQ with 4 new wets on. Timosyanov, his teammate next to him. Row 2, Timo, Scheider and Kevin Abring, a race man and a rally man. Timo with a lot of rallycross experience now. Kevin Abring in his first event at this level. Bringing up the rear, Yanis Balmanis and Gulan Shisharit. Shisharit fought his way in Q4. Balmanis had a terrible Q1. They're going to be keen. Let's do this. Here we go. On board with Gronholm. Eyes on the lights. They're bright in these conditions. Watch for the green. Jumpstart Scheider. Jumpstart Scheider. Everyone's in panic mode, Dan.
Yeah, nobody knows the launch settings now because they've been running on the similar settings all through the weekend in the dry conditions, and they're now lining up on what will be a new part of the grid for the back four, and not even knowing what RPM to have the car set at. So tension's running high, and Scheider maybe, I don't know, trying to preload the car too much, but yeah, it didn't. It's not gone too well, has it?
It has not. Watch for Scheider on the right. Clear jump. Nobody else goes. So, yeah, if it was a 1 second joker, you'd almost say has he done it to test the RPM, but you know, clearly not here. The joker here was 3.9 in the dry, so you know, he's not going to do that. Right, the marshals are going to clear the grid. The drivers, wow, the nerves are just going to be so high. Gronholm takes a little glance across as the marshals leave the grid. He clunks the car into second gear. So Gronholm takes a second gear start. He's going to load it up on the handbrake. Getting ready for the restart after Timo Scheider jumped the first one. Wait for the ready to race lights. Here we go. Revs up for the second time. Wheel spin all round. Abring kicks the clutch, tries to close the door on Balmanis in the background. Unbelievable start. Shisharit. P6 to whole shot. Drops it on the brakes. Timmer in the side. Shisharit's gone round. Scheider into him. Gronholm feels his way around the inside. Timo Scheider up the inside of Balmanis. Balmanis in the wall in the background. Gronholm takes the whole shot. Scheider's going down the wall as he broken the car, as he just caught in the dirt. So Timo Scheider. Balmanis comes around the outside, him into turn two. I think Scheider's suspension broken. Rear left is gone. Timo Scheider is out. Gulan Shisharit carries on from underneath the commentary position. Gronholm leads from Abring.
What an absolutely mental start, but that just goes to show what these conditions do. No one knows what it is like on the way into turn one, and we've seen a flood going into there, so lots of aquaplaning and everybody just getting caught out.
Unbelievable. Shisharit's start from slot 6 was incredible, and then he dropped on the brakes, and he would because he didn't know where to brake. It was an unbelievable start. What a shape for him. He's still circulating out there, and literally anything can happen in these laps. Dan, any one of these guys, they could drop it at any point. They're just feeling their way round.
You have to be so fragile with these cars, and Kevin Abring all over the back of Niklas Gronholm, so that rally driver coming out of him is really paying off. But yeah, 600 horsepower in standing water. Scheider walks away from his car.
Scheider's out. Oh, he's gutted, isn't he? Scheider's gone. We saw Abring was right behind Gronholm, and then he got on the throttle too early, didn't he, in that downhill left-hander. And Dan, getting on the throttle too early in these conditions does what?
It just completely lights up the rear, the wheels, and you end up like four-wheel drifting. All the differentials lock, and you basically have like no control, especially if you're on the gravel and you're wheel spinning. You're kind of a bit of a passenger as to where the grip levels are, where the car takes you. Kevin
Abring, yeah, they haven't joked. Look at Timozyanov, he's only 3.8 off the back of them. So Timozyanov and Yanis Balmanis, the danger here. Abring's crew have spotted it. Balmanis backs it in now. So through the dirt, we can hear people stamping their feet up in the spotters tower. The pressure is on for these guys. The pressure is on for Niklas Gronholm. He took the TQ, but it's his own teammate who loves this circuit who's hunting him down.
Yeah, the advantage for Timozyanov and Niklas, they both have clear windscreens. The other guys around them, they have the mud spray and everything else to deal with. So the two Hyundais here are in the box seat, but it is Timozyanov who's looking fastest.
4.3, the gap's gone up. Gronholm's put the gap up. Gronholm's surely going to go joker now. Abring up the inside. Timozyanov gets two sideways. Kevin Abring's done him through the jump. Kevin Abring to P2. Gronholm stayed out. The gap's gone up to 5.2, so a mistake there for Gronholm somehow. For Timozyanov, he's back up the inside of Abring. Abring runs wide, and Timozyanov takes a spot back. Balmanis is looking for a mistake from either of these guys.
I don't think Kevin Abring can see his windscreen has fully missed it up, and of course in the spray as well, but fantastic for him to get past, and then a little bit too late on the brakes and running himself wide. He's going to be looking for a gap again now to try and get back to the inside, but he's got Balmanis for company on his rear.
Balmanis is right there. I think Dan's right as well. Look at the screen there of Kevin Abring. He does sit low, so he's going to be able to see a little bit, but nightmare conditions here. Absolute nightmare. Kevin Abring trying so hard to stay with him, and he gets back up underneath Timmer again. Timozyanov runs wide. Abring passes him at the exact same spot. Coming down to the braking turn, Timozyanov gives him a nudge in the rear. Abring's going to try desperately to hold on. Gronholm still hasn't gone joker. He's 7.6 clear now, so Gronholm's in the clear. Balmanis looking for a spot. He's going to try up the inside, but he can't.
Kevin Abbring now, he's just found a weak spot for Timojanov. He just cannot find the traction up the hill, where Kevin Abbring just sticks it to him, and Timojanov now into the back of Abbring. He's going to push him wide, but Abbring manages to rotate the car and keep himself up the inside and keeping Timo behind him.
For a bloke who doesn't race, Kevin Abbring is absolutely killing it. Niklas Gronholm out in front, coming up over the crest. He's going to have to go Joker on this lap now. Abbring's going to stay tight, surely. Balmanis will have seen what Abbring's done. He's looking for a way past. Gronholm comes in super gingerly on the brakes through the Joker lap. A minute ago, the gap was 3.9. It's up to 9.4. Gronholm's tripled it in 3 laps, and he comes out clearly in front. Balmanis still looking for a spot. Oh, Abbring's run wide.
Abbring there just able to close the door again, so good job by him. That racecraft, which he's maybe not had to experience before.
Balmanis having a look. Balmanis on the inside. Timojanov goes down to P4. The Latvian, the day after his birthday, has made it up to 3rd, but this is not over yet. Gronholm's gone. Forget him. He's way out in front. This is about the final spot in the final. This is an epic semi-final. Gronholm's coming round to take the checker flag. He goes through to the front row. He's going to take the pole in the final of round 5. What's going on behind him? It's Abbring going to take it, surely. He's going to come through in P2. Balmanis holds a tight line. Kevin Abbring through to row 2. Balmanis to row 3. They're going mental in the spotters tower. That was brilliant.
Oh, what an epic first race in the rain. And we've still got 3 more races to come here this afternoon. How awesome was that?
Niklas calling people over. He's got a problem. He takes the win. Niklas Gronholm takes semi-final 1 from Kevin Abbring and Janis Balmanis. Timojanov just missed out after we thought Timo was going to win it. He ends up P4. Schiescher and Scheider. Great start for Schiescher. All went wrong, and Scheider ended in the gravel trap. Wow. I knew it was going to be carnage, but that was like next level, Dan. That was wild.
This is why I love rallycross, and when I saw the rain pouring, I just had a big grin on my face.
No, it's terrible, isn't it? To be honest, would you have had a big grin on your face if you were driving? I mean, I suppose it depends on your position, doesn't it? In some ways, if you know the car's good in the dry and you're out front, you're like, oh, no, not at all. If you're like, I need a chance here. If you're P6, maybe you're like, come on, have it. You know, might as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm sure Schiescher, when he came off the line, was like, yes, yes, yes. And then when he hit the brakes there, just taking himself out, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a very tricky one to get right. So here's the start.
Yeah, it's the start. Look at this from Schiescher on the outside, and Balmanis moves across. But look, and then here, did he drop it or did Timo hit him? I can't quite tell, to be honest. Scheider drove through him, but he had to because he was brought on the road. Scheider's got nowhere to go. Look, Scheider can't see that, and he actually does his best to drive around the back of him. Balmanis hits him there. Then what does Scheider do? I think he's broken already, isn't he? Sorry, Scheider is broken at that point. Balmanis comes around him at this point. He's off the back, and then it all went mad.
Yeah, so you can see, I think it was contact made with Balmanis that broke Scheider. But Kevin Abbring, though, I think was the man of the moment in that race. Was in a battle all the time. This is where Timojanov, we thought, would be able to catch Gronholm.
And this was clever, too, because at this point, I believe Balmanis had already joked. So they've just slotted him to 3rd, and they're hoping maybe we can make it through. But you know, then we had this incredible battle. Timo seemingly unable to find the traction on the exit. So Abbring got past. Timo gets back past, if this is the same lap, in this corner here, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, so runs a bit wide. Runs wide, yeah. Timojanov just the door was open and went for it. And then, well, the next lap again. So we're going to see now, I think Timojanov, big drift. He can't get the power down. He's having to be really patient on the throttle. Kevin Abbring keeping the tighter line and just got the traction and just shooted himself past him. But then was careful not to make the same mistake. Braked very gingerly, but kept himself tight there. Timojanov was looking for the gap, but couldn't find it. And
Gronholm, meanwhile, you know, we thought he had 3.8 at one point. Timo, if he joked early, Timo could have ended up in front of Niklas immediately. As it goes, when he went in the Joker, thanks to these guys doing this, he had nearly 10 seconds to make it through. What a brilliant semi-final 1 from Norway. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that was mad. So that's one semi-final. We've got another semi to come. Then we've got European Supercar Final and the World Supercar Final. Don't go anywhere. It doesn't really matter how soaking wet and cold you are, Dan, when there's that. You know, the thing is, these guys have just got wet with 1 hour to go, and then you see that and you're like, I can suck it in a bit because this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the adrenaline around the whole the whole track here is keeping everybody warm. You still see people there in t-shirts. I suppose when you get to that point, you're like, well, there's no point in trying to get warm.
I think the thing is, a lot of these people didn't bring anything else with them, did they? You know, yesterday was mild but warm. It's shorts and t-shirt, but today's been hot. You know, we've been opening up the windows on the side of the commentary box, lifting up the canvas flaps down the side to try and get it a bit cooler in here. It was that hot. Yeah, some people have come up here in shorts and t-shirts, and it's changed in an instant. Right, we can take another look back at this race. Shisha on the outside.
Yeah, Shisha just having amazing grip off of that start position and cutting himself across, but then dropping it on the brakes and being touched by Timur
twice, in fact. So Timur caught, and to be fair to Timur, you know, okay, not cool. I feel sorry for Ghislaine because that was a brilliant start, but Timur dropped it on the brakes. Again, he hasn't done that on purpose, and he's hit him twice on the way in. You know, it is a shame for him. It is a shame, and I don't think, looking at it, did he? Oh, he did, yeah. Shisha did finish. So, yeah, he finished, but he obviously miles behind. Lap times are actually good.
Yeah.
43.9. So Shisha was doing the same lap times. Watch this. Onboard Gronom's going, you're having a laugh. Where's he come from? Boom from Timur. You can see the car. You can see the damage there on the front of his car. Scheider then, look, the car's spinning across in front of him. Gronom's thinking, oh, I have no idea how much grip there is. And so actually, Shisha, as I say, had the same pace as Niklas Gronom and did the 6 laps. Unfortunately, he was... do you know what? Actually, he was only 7 seconds off the back of Timur Yarnov in the end. So if it had gone on for another couple of laps, look at this at the bottom of the hill. Sorry, the top of the hill, just before the run down.
Absolutely torrential, isn't it? You can, if we listen, you can hear how patient you have to be with the throttle.
So it's a look back at the last lap. So this is Abring and Baumanis. So at this point, Baumanis is not in the final. Listen to Gronom, almost waiting until the car's fully straight. Now watch this. Baumanis comes around the outside of Timur and then goes for an undercut here. Does he, or does he just outgas him on the exit? Timur, so yeah, Timur can't find a way past Abring, look. Up the inside just here. And again, Timur just had understeer, didn't he? Couldn't get on the gas.
Yeah, just maybe by not being able to get quite as heavy on the brake as he wanted to with Abring in front of him, not able to load the weight onto the front of the car, so they're not able to find the grip.
Baumanis takes it at the last. Gronholm wins semi-final number 1. Holds on, having taken the TQ. Can he take the win? Unbelievable stuff. Well, if you missed semi-final number 1, you best get yourself ready for this, because the first one was an absolute roller coaster. I wonder if these guys have got any idea what's coming at turn 1. Semi-final 2 is on the line and waiting to go. Let's take a look at the lineup. On the front row, it's Timmy Hansen and Andreas Baccarid. A lot of people's favourites for the World Championship. Kevin Hansen, who led it until his brother took it off him at the last round. Anton Marken next to him. Brilliant start by Shisha. Can he do the same in this one? Cyril Raymond and Liam Doran promoted at the last minute thanks to Bachuska being DQ'd from Q3 earlier today. So we know what tyres these guys are on. They're all going to be on wets. The question mark is Doran going to get a start from that slot Shisha it was in? Is anyone going to hook it up? What's going to happen at turn 1? Let's find out now. Great start, Kevin Hansen, row 2, straight through between his brother and backward. Timmy Hansen goes backwards. Liam Doran surely going to go Joker. Liam goes Joker and Marken's gone with him. Timmy Hansen goes too. Kevin Hansen leads on the inside line. Andreas backward having a look up the inside too. Much more measured from these guys. I think they had a good idea of how carnage it could be.
Yeah, so they would have been told from their spotters and watching the race before how wet it is, as Andreas is looking up the outside and then in the inside of Kevin Hansen, but not able to find a way through. But he's got Cyril Raymond all over his back bumper as well. So Andreas is going to be looking. Look at the visibility going up the hill through the gravel. You cannot see anything if you're on the behind car.
Zero, so Baccarid can't see anything. This is the corner where we saw the passing, and try and have a look. But Kevin, I think, will be wise to it. And the pack are on them already. Liam Doran is on the back of these guys. Right now, they've gone 2 defensive on the first lap, and they've lost time. Any of these guys joking now, they're getting eaten up immediately by the whole pack.
Yeah, Liam Doran, well, the 3 of them there all together have done a fantastic job catching up to the back of the lead 3 that is still yet to Joker. So you'd think they're all in the box seat now for the final.
Do you know what? I think Joker on lap 1 from Doran was absolutely genius, because also the fact that it's gravel down, the grip in wet gravel is way more predictable than the grip on wet tarmac, which is pretty hard to understand, but it is.
Yeah, it was a fantastic job to go to there, and from that P6 grid slot as well, to just get himself in front. He had the whole shot pretty much, and then just decided to go to the Joker.
Backwards car, absolutely filthy. Liam Doran has only just been put up to the final. From P13, he's made it through. Cyril Raymond goes Joker now. He knows he's in trouble from the cars behind, but what's the grip like in the gravel compared? You see what I mean? It's kind of predictable, at least. It doesn't have the puddles that the tarmac had, but Raymond has lost out, and if Backerud goes now, he's going to lose out too. So I think Kevin and Andreas are going to have to stay out, and they're going to have to try and get the hammer down. And Kevin's going defensive, but really, it's not going to put him in the final.
No, not at all. I think, personally, I think Andreas maybe have a bit more pace. He is all over the back of Kevin, but then drops back where he has his low visibility spots, like here. But then again, he's on him again. So Andreas are looking for a way past, and Markland are looking for a way past Liam Doran. He's got a nose up the inside, but can't quite get through.
This is what Kevin Hansen and Andreas Backerud need. We saw this last time round. We saw the gap at the front grew massively when they started battling, and it's growing already. So it's going to go up at the next split, I think. Timmy Hansen looking at the back of Markland, can't find a way through there either. Right now, I wouldn't mind being P6 in this. You're going to get that grid slot that we've seen the unbelievable starts from in the final.
Yeah, the problem is the grid in P1 and P2 that has rubber that's been down there all weekend, and wet water on top of rubber. There's no grip at all, so that's why we saw Andreas and Timmy go backwards.
Absolutely went backwards. I mean, Kevin just flew forwards from that spot, didn't he? Going to be really hard to try and find better settings for the final. The minute we don't know who's going to be in it, what's the gap as they come up? We need Kevin back to Doran is the gap that we're looking for. 2.5, it's not enough. It's definitely not enough. It was 3.9 in the dry. Look at Timmy Hansen, have a look around the outside. The approach from these guys is the complete polar opposite to what we saw in Semi-1.
Yeah, so these guys are taking it out a little bit more tamer, trying to keep themselves on the track. But of course, we're coming up to the last lap now in a minute. I'm sure we're going to start to see some fireworks when people are going to start to get desperate to want to be in the final.
Doran leading the pack of four now that have joked. Of course, Cyril Raymond went as well, but he's off the back of that group. And Doran looks to me to have gapped Markland a tiny bit in the background. Backerud here is losing time. The gap now is 2 seconds to Doran from Kevin Hansen, which means it's going to be even closer back to him up towards turn 1. They both go Joker on the last lap. In goes Kevin Hansen and Andreas Backerud. But 3 cars are going to go through underneath them. Kevin's not going to make it either. He won't take his brother out, surely. Kevin up the inside of Timmy. Kevin Hansen's going to claim the spot from Timmy Hansen. Backerud maybe going to go through too. Oh, Backerud sideways. The dream is over for the Norwegian. He drops to P6. Cyril Raymond goes through. Kevin Hansen might take back the lead in the World Championship here. He's managed to get the position from his brother on the very last lap. Liam Doran was in P13 30 minutes ago. The stewards excluded Bachuska, and the British bomb, who's gone brilliantly at Norway in the past, but not so well this weekend, is going to win semi-final 2 from Anton Markland. Kevin Hansen goes through P3, and the World Championship leader, Timmy Hansen, is out. Wow, again. I'm just blown away by the results we're seeing, and the final is going to be fascinating. Doran is on the front row. Liam Doran wins semi-final number 2 from Anton Markland and Kevin Hansen. Timmy Hansen losing the position to his brother on the last lap. We didn't think there would be enough time, but there was. Cyril Raymond and Andreas Backerud, the Norwegian, is out at home, but his teammate for Monster Energy RX Cartel goes through to the front row against Niklas Gronholm. Right, watch this, Dan.
So yeah, the front row of the grid there, the 2 guys just so much wheel spin, everybody else behind them just getting the launch on them and able to get up in front. Andreas all the way into the back of Kevin there on trying to get his way through and also find his braking point. This is his first time braking on this track in the wet this weekend.
So frustrating for Andreas and for the Backerud Blues here in Norway. They wanted to see him in the final. We understand that. Everybody wants to win at home. In fact, look, Backerud had been collected from behind by Cyril Raymond. So there was a 3-way contact on the way into turn 1 there. Doran was absolutely stunning through the gravel, and that was what I was saying about the predictable level of grip. And at least if it goes wrong on the gravel, you can send it sideways and you know what will happen.
Yeah, so it was probably one of the best moves to do, is to do the Joker lap in the first lap.
Laura's with Liam now.
Very quickly, thanks for waiting for us, Liam. Your words on that is absolutely sensational. Made it last minute into that semi-final, and you've just won it in filthy conditions.
Right, would you believe it, hey? I threw it away. I threw it away in Q4, pushed too hard, and you know, and by a stroke of luck, someone was disqualified, and it would have been I was so upset. Would have been the first semi-final that I've missed so far this year, and I was so frustrated, and you know, it was all my fault. So to have pulled it back to get in, the luck of getting in, and the luck of the rain, there was no way I wasn't going to make that one work.
Liam, well done. Thanks for talking to us as well. Cheers, mate.
Liam Doran absolutely made up to make it through to the semi-finals. He is right. Of course, he was he was third. He got a podium in Abu Dhabi, fourth in the semis in Spain, made the final and came sixth in both Belgium and the UK. But on the one hand, Dan, I'd like to fancy his chances because he's on the front row. On the other hand, we've seen how slippery that row is, so he might well end up going backwards. We've got two finals to come. The Euro guys have seen nothing of these wet conditions, and they will be up next. Roof of the Monster Energy rig has gone surprisingly empty, hasn't it? It's, with the key word being the roof. Nobody wants to stand up there. So the European Supercar Championship final for round 2 is coming up next. So have a look back at the semi-finals, which were held in much nicer conditions, it has to be said. So it was Larson on the pole in semi-final number 1. Easy hole shot for him. Down towards turn 1, Ikonen went to the Joker lap immediately. Peter Hedstrom went in large behind Rennie Munich. Bit of contact between those two. Look at the back there. Munich just about holds on, but it cost him a load of time, and Ikonen then had gapped those two. So they were a little way off the back of the pack bumper, hanging off the back of Rennie Munich's car. Look at how much the conditions have changed. So Tiedemann was on the back of this train of 3 cars. Larson absolutely flying in the Audi. Into the Joker lap. Another spectacular Joker from Robin Larson. He's been doing that all weekend. Dubourg going to go through as well, but look for the merge. Ikonen makes it out just in front of Pontus Tiedemann. So Ikonen bringing the pace just towards the end of the weekend, qualified in 11th place and manages to go through to the final. Semi-final number 2, disaster for Walfridson left on the grid. Karai at the back of the pack moving across. Sondra Evshin going into the Joker lap. Alexander Wahl went with him. Side by side up at turn 1. See Dubourg gets up underneath Brinterson. Then Brinterson can't find a way back through. A bit of contact with Karai. Nicely done by Andrea Dubourg. Leading this one, Brinterson though got up underneath in the hairpin. Couldn't quite make it stick. Up and over the jump. Made it stick in turn 1 though. Fantastic move. Remember, Rallycross, you're only going to have 1 wheel on the track, and that was only 2 wheels off, so that is a legal move. Brinterson out front, managing to gap the rest of the field. Coming out of the Joker lap here. Tidily done. He goes through in P1 to place last on the front row. Evshin going through on the row 2. Dubourg on row 3. Tyres squealing. You won't be hearing any of that in the final because it's absolutely pouring with rain. Great job by Brinson making the pass to hold that position on the front row. He will be facing Larson. Nicely done there by Brinterson, I think, rescuing the front row. Although, I'll tell you what, right now, I'm guessing he's thinking, I wish I was on row 2, really.
Yeah, I would have said so as well. But he wants to be row 2, but on the outside of row 2, because if you're on row 2 on the inside, you're boxed in.
Blocked in. Look at that, you can see the little bubbles on the water. It continues to rain, nothing like as heavy as it was earlier, but this track is not going to dry up despite the blue skies in the distance. Stay with us. I think it's fair to say that the 2 semi-finals for the World Rallycross Championship Round 5 were pretty spectacular. And we're going to be heading into our first, second to last final of the day. So here we go, WRX coming up. Wet conditions for this. 4 of our 6 cars are on the line, and we'll be lining the other ones up. Larson on the front row against Brinterson. Brinterson making that great move to claim his spot on the front row, but we saw what happened in semi-final number 2. They literally went backwards. Was the RPM too high? Here's a spot where you test. So this is your pre-test, Dan, your pre-start.
Yeah, so going to be playing around with the launch settings here, although I'm not sure how accurate this is going to be, because it's not actually sort of on the strip of tarmac that they're using for the actual start line. So, but you can see Andrea Dubourg had a lot of wheel spin there, so I'm sure he's going to be turning the settings down.
JB Dubourg on row 2, Andrea Dubourg on row 3. It's Ikonen who's on the back row on the outside. Not had the pace for the rest of the weekend, but that's not to say he won't get a whole shot here. And to be honest, Dan, if you can get the whole shot, that's sort of 3/4 of the job done in these conditions. Then you've got to not make a mistake. But you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that Larson will have a good crack at this from the pole. Larson leads Brinderson in the championship by 4 points. JB Dubourg is a further 3 points back. Andrea Dubourg as well. So 4 of these 6 are in the top 4 in the standings. On the pole, championship leader Robin Larson. Next to him, championship P2 Thomas Brinderson. Row 2 on the inside, JB Dubourg, who's 3rd in the standings at the minute. Then Sondra Evjen, recovering from 12th at Silverstone to get much further up the order here. Andrea Dubourg, who is 4th in the standings, with Mikko Ikonen 11th, making it through to the back row of the final. 11th in qualifying. Good job by him. Here we go. Are they going to get it right this time? Much better start from the front row. The JB Dubourg's hooked up way better on row 2. So it wasn't as bad as it was in the semi-final. JB Dubourg goes straight to the joker lap. Andrea Dubourg's gone in the back. Ikonen going to go through in P2 on the joker run. Sondra Evjen having a look at Larson. Larson splashes through the puddles on the inside. Brinderson is in 3rd place. Larson is out in front. So great start, JB Dubourg. And I think in some ways, it's going to come down to what the gap is at the end of this lap as to whether or not Larson responds.
Yeah, so but we're seeing the grip on the front row. It's just not there. Everybody around them is just, you know, jumping on them. Sondra Evjen was actually up in front of Larson on the way into the first corner, but overshot the braking point, and Larson got back under him. So Evjen moving up from the second row to now being P2.
Larson leads down to turn 1. The gap at the moment is 3.4 back to Dubourg. So Larson now then, Dan, what do we think we need in the wet? 5 maybe? It was 3.9 in the dry. I don't know though, because turn 1 is so slow as well now.
Yeah, turn 1, I mean, I'm not sure if the cars going through has cleared the puddle, but there was a massive stream of water running through the tarmac section of turn 1, and the joker lap is remaining fairly consistent. Of course, it's still slippier than when it was in the dry, but it's a consistent grip now in the rain, whereas on the loose, on the tarmac, it is a varied grip lap to lap.
Around that last corner for JB Dubourg. He's the leader of the 3 who've jokered. The gap went up to 3.8. What's it going to be as he crosses the line? 3.6. So went up by 0.2. It's gone back down by 0.2. So there may... Oh, Brinderson up the inside of Evjen. Evjen gets punted wide. Almost in the wall, but just about holds on. Same place that Brinderson made the pass in the semi-final.
Yeah, slightly later on the corner, I think Evjen maybe made a slight mistake there and getting caught out by the standing water and running wide and just leaving Brinderson the gap. But JB Dubourg all over the back now of Sondra Evjen.
What's going to happen in the final? I really don't know. Now, there are going to be spotters making frantic decisions about what to do in the World Supercar final, which follows this, because we've now seen 2 terrible starts from the front row, so they're going to know. Gronholm and Doran are going to know they're probably not going to win the starts. It's whether you force everyone into the joker. I mean, I'm wondering if that might be the right tactic. What, Dubourg underneath Evjen? Evjen loses another spot. So JB Dubourg moves up into P3 and has jokered already. So that's a fantastic drive by him, and he's only 1.7 off the back of Brinderson. JB Dubourg doing a brilliant job. Peugeot seems to be working really well in the wet.
Yeah, it's working out really well for them. But out front, Larson in the Audi has got 3.8 back to JB Dubourg, so it's not, the gap has kind of remained similar, maybe pulled out a little bit, but it's going to be really close. We're not going to see Robin doing his big send like he normally does in the joker lap.
We're seeing him stay out for another lap. Brinderson 2. Interesting, so Larson, and the jet gap's gone up to 4.0, so Larson needs another lap like that, Dan, and then maybe we think it would be enough because of the fact that both laps are slower. The difference between them might remain somewhat similar to what it was prior to the rain. It's 4.1. He gets another 10th on this section of the track, so Larson now full focus coming up to the last. So you can hear the wheels spin up the hill in 4th gear. The wheels are spinning like mad. Larson has to go joker now.
Yeah, he has to go last lap, and he is going to be coming in there a lot gingerly to what we saw him do in his semi-final, well, all through the weekend. So he's going to come up there bit ginger, but
just going to feel it or send it. We're about to find out. I think he's going to feel it, and you're right, Dan Brooks, bang on the money. He takes the safety option. First time he's done that all weekend. Look for JB Dubourg on the inside. Larson's got it straight. brilliantly timed. The gap was 4.1 when they went in, and you can see he's just in front. So it's crazy, but the gap for a Joker is pretty much exactly what it was in the dry.
Yeah, of course, it's wet in the Joker and wet on the standard lap, so you would kind of expect it to be similar. Although it is a gravel section, it's quite a thick gravel, which means that the tyres can dig in and get grip.
Larson then with a brilliant performance this weekend. He took the TQ, he won his semi-final in atrocious conditions from an unlikely grip level on pole. Went backwards at the start, but he has managed to hold on. Fantastic drive. Robin Larson wins his second round in a row. JB de Boer goes one better than he did last time at Silverstone. He takes P2. Brinderson drops down to P3. It's the same three drivers on the podium as it was for round one. Larson, though, with a win. Awesome drive. Evgen still out on track, so I think Evgen must have had a problem. We saw him dropping a few places back. Been very impressed with Sondre Evgen this weekend. Broken steering, it looks like to me. Front left, well, both wheels facing inwards, so something going on with the steering at the front. Larson takes the win from JB de Boer, who jokered on the very first corner. Thomas Brinderson, P3. Eakin got up to fourth. Andrea de Boer and Sondre Evgen. Great drive by Larson. He's won both the first two rounds of the European Championship for Supercar.
Well, we saw clinical, clean racing from you earlier on and throughout the weekend. Then the heavens opened. Absolutely apocalyptic conditions came down. How hard fought was that win in what were very difficult conditions?
It felt so terrible, the driving, when we were driving on the rain in the first time in the rain for the car and me. So it was so much expressions before the start, and I managed to do a good start, but the Borg did a really good from the second line, but then just control it, and I heard from the spotter it was pretty good lap time, so it feels terrible when you drive in rain with this car, but yeah, it was nice to hear those lap times and put that win in, because yeah, you get so nervous when the rain is coming and you have drive the whole weekend on dry, so yeah, so nice to get the win.
Congratulations, well done. Thank you.
Relief from Larson after the start. Didn't work out. We thought he got the RPM better than they had in the previous semi-final 2 for World. JB de Boer, though, snuck straight through, went straight to the Joker with Eakin and his brother Andrea. Look how slippery it is in there, but at least it's predictable slippery down. And this is what I mean about Joker on lap 1. To me, when you're not sure on the grip level, it's almost the safer bet.
Yeah, so it's a consistent all the way through the Joker lap from the start to the finish, whereas the tarmac, you've got various different areas of standing water, which can really catch you out.
I wonder if Sondre Evgen had damaged the steering by this point already, because he ran wide in this one. Andrea de Boer getting through. Larson saying he just hasn't really driven the car in the wet, and taking a very sensible approach. Stan Rook said he would, and he did. Yeah, it just goes to show you, doesn't it? Even with the confidence he's got to pull it off in the dry, all the while you just don't know the grip levels. And also, probably not the traction to go for the send it and see Joker lap. Robin Larson with a brilliant drive to win round 2 of the FIA European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Here are the championship standings after Norway. Larson with a perfect 60 points. Brinderson holds P2 with 51. JB de Boer stays in P3 on 47. Andrea de Boer is 4th. That's where he was before. Tiedemann moves up a place into 5th. It's Munich, Eakin and Sondre Evgen up to 8th. Great job. Okay, take a deep breath, everyone. I can see a couple of cars on the start line already. From the commentary position, we're going to get that grid loaded, and we're going to have one more go at this incredibly treacherous track in Norway. Niklas Gronholm on the pole. He took his first qualifying win in Q1, followed by another one on Q2 to be overnight TQ. He had a bad one in Q3. Dropped down to 5th in that session, remained in the TQ spot. Timmy Hansen had lined him up, thought he might be able to get him, but he couldn't. Niklas won Q4 and took his first ever top qualifier spot. Semi-finally did a brilliant job in those conditions to take the win. Fair to point out, I think so. Both him and Larson have won from the pole.
Yeah, so although
it's doable.
Yeah, although the pole is slippier, you do still have that advantage into turn one by, you know, being on the inside of everyone and in front of everybody.
We saw Larson get away. We saw JB de Boer got a better start than Larson. Larson then checked up to go into turn one. Abbring bogged. So Abbring's running really low RPM, or was going to. They'll go a click up from that, won't they?
Yeah, I would have thought so. I'm sure their engine engineer is watching the start and gone, right, you need to go up slightly on your revs, and he would have known that himself as well.
They're just doing final tyre pressures on Kevin Hansen's cars. Mate, what? I mean, Kevin nicking the spot from his brother. What about Kevin Abbring? This is his debut in the World Rallycross Championship. We know he's a good driver. We know he did some RST Rallycross as a kid, but we're talking like 30 horsepower. So, you know, you don't jump, well, normally you don't jump in a supercar and do what he's done. He's had a brilliant weekend. Very impressive. He's going to be at Hollis as well with ES Motorsport. Obviously, I definitely think the rain played into his hands in the semi-final, but that's taking nothing away. His racecraft in that was epic, and that's what you'd expect to be missing.
Yeah, of course, when you're rallying, you're just racing the clock, so you don't normally have cars around you and know where to defend and how to, you know, get a switch back on an overtake and various things like that. So that would have been all stuff he's picked up from, well, watching events, I'm sure, but also this weekend, and figuring out how he can move his car around to best defend from other people.
Kevin Hansen takes his practice start. He's late in. We're late to the line here. I'm guessing all the teams just desperately checking out settings and things. Kevin having to reverse the car to get it into the slot. P5 for him. P6 is Yanis Baumanis. I tell you what, bet against the Latvian necessarily. He won on his birthday weekend in 2014. So Baumanis pulls into P6, and that completes the grid. Let's take a look at the final lineup then. Niklas Gronholm on the front row with Liam Doran. We know how slippery that front row is. Kevin Abbring, the rally man, making a brilliant debut in Rallycross. Can he capitalise? Anton Markland outside. Kevin Hansen nicked the spot from his brother on pretty much the last lap. Yanis Baumanis is in a great slot on the outside P6. Here we go. So Baumanis won on his birthday in 2014 in Super 600. Could he pull it off on the outside? Can Gronholm hold on for a debut win from the inside? Can Doran take it? Oh, Abbring had to take the clutch. Doran's gone backwards. Gronholm with a good start. Abbring's in between the Kevin Hansen slots up behind the two. Doran going to get the whole shot. Surely going to go Joker. Liam Doran goes Joker. Markland, Baumanis trying to go around the outside. Gets a little nudge in the side. Gets a push from Markland runs wide. Abbring up the inside of Gronholm. Kevin can have a look up the inside of Gronholm too. So Gronholm's lost out in turn two. Kevin Abbring leads on his debut in the World Rallycross Championship, but Liam Doran has choked and is in the lead of the three cars that have done that.
Well, that just goes to show what we mean about the racecraft of Kevin Abbring. He's learned that through the weekend. He ran wide on the way into turn one, and I thought both Kevin and Niklas would have him, but he kept himself on the outside and stuck it up the inside of turn two.
Oh, this is incredible. The form here. Look at that. Gronholm is pushing Kevin Hansen the whole way through the last corner, desperate to try and find a way past. I wonder if he might go choke him. He's going to drop himself straight in the pack if he does.
Gronholm definitely feels like he's got extra pace. He's going trying every different line he can to try and get in the mirrors of Kevin Hansen, try and unsettle him and to try and find a way past, but it's just not quite working out. Kevin isn't cracking under the pressure.
Liam's closed down on the lead by 0.5 of a second. Liam Doran has come down from 3.8 to 3.3. Abbring makes a mistake. Does he sideways up on the curb on the inside? Kevin Hansen and Gronholm fighting for traction on the way out the hill. Gronholm is all over the back of him. Niklas just, he can't find a way past at the minute. Can he do it here? Kevin, is he going to hold the tight inside line? Niklas maybe have a look at the inside and the exit, but he can't. Liam Doran backing up behind him. Markland and Baumanis in the train. We've got two trains and three cars. At the minute, the front guys are going to have to hold on down because they don't have enough of a gap to go.
Kevin Abbring has now just pulled the gap out to Liam to 4 seconds. Has gone from, what was it, 3.3 up to 4. So at the minute, our joke predictor's saying Liam Doran, but that gap is increasing.
That 0.046 is not a merge, that is a collision. You know, if you're going to get down within 2 0.2 of a second. You're coming out of that Joker lap side by side. No one's in front at this point. It couldn't be closer. Liam Doran through the bumps at the bottom. Kevin Abbring up front holding on. What are the spotters saying to him now? What are they saying to Niklas? They're saying try and find a gap, but he can't.
Yeah, Niklas, his only option, he has to try and get past Kevin Hansen. If he tries to use the Joker as a tactic, he's dropping back and he's gone. So he needs to find a hole. He needs to get past.
Kevin Abbring is leading the final on his debut. The gap, though, back to Doran now is 3.2. It's seesawing like mad between these two. Gronholm sideways on the exit. Liam's closing up to the back of them. This is unbelievable. The tension in the spotters tower is incredible. I just don't know what they would be saying to these guys.
They're going to just be shouting them. You need to find a hole. You need to get past them. But there isn't any. There's no option to do that.
Oh my goodness me, Abbring in the lead with a bit of handbrake over the crest. Gronholm looking up the inside of Hansen. He's going to try surely for a cutback now, but Kevin knows. Kevin's racecraft is too good. He's just going to keep it tight, but they're costing time in the background. What's the gap now? Abbring crosses the line. Liam Doran is how far? 1.8 behind. Liam Doran is 1.8 behind. Abbring's gone Joker. Gronholm up the inside of Kevin Hansen. Gronholm's going to nick the spoisey. Kevin's on the inside. Liam Doran coming round. Got to watch out for these two. They're going to come back on the track. They won't even know Liam's there. So Liam Doran is now leader of the 4 drivers of Joker, and he's right underneath Kevin Hansen and Niklas Gronholm.
Niklas Gronholm is going to be absolutely kicking himself. He lost it on the start there, but Liam Doran.
Doran's gone backwards. Markland's gone through. Anton Markland's got Liam Doran. What happened there? Liam Doran's pulled off to the side. Liam Doran, he was on for his debut win. He's pulled off the side. Anton Markland now on for it. He leads the 4 cars who've jokered. Kevin Abbring's dropped back as well. Yannis Baumanis has gone through. Kevin Hansen and Gronholm to go to the Joker now.
Yeah, they have to get in the Joker lap, but it's not going to be enough time. We're going to see them dropping back.
They're sideways and wide. Anton Markland's gone through and he's got an absolutely massive lead. Oh, this is unbelievable. We thought we might see a debut win for Liam. Oh, my goodness me. Liam Doran, we thought he might be a debut win. Baumanis now trying to find a way past Gronholm too. Gronholm struggling at the bottom of the hill. Anton Markland is leading as they go up the hill. Liam Doran retired from the lead a moment ago. Abbring had it too. Anton Markland in his 47th World RX event comes around the left and around the right. They said he might be able to do it here in dry conditions. He's done it in the wet in a carnage final. Markland takes his debut World Rallycross win. Brilliant performance from him. Nicely done. Unbelievable. I had no idea he was going to do it. Kevin Hansen gets P2. Niklas Gronholm completes the podium. That is a mad, mad final. The maddest one I've ever seen. That's it. Yes, go on, Kevin. Kevin's well happy with second place. Oh. His head's on. Yes. Anton Markland, you can hear him in the car. Yes, he's taken his debut win. We thought it was Liam's, we thought it was Kevin Abbring's. They ended up P6 and P5. Baumanis in 4th. Gronholm drops from 1st to 3rd. But it's Markland who takes his debut win here. Absolutely stellar performance from the Swede. Kevin Hansen holds on to 2nd. I don't know what that's going to do to the driver standings. My goodness me, I need a stiff drink, Dan. That was wild. That's the wildest hour rallycross thing I've ever seen.
That was absolutely awesome. It just goes to show what the weather conditions can do just before the semis and the finals. It's really shaken up the order.
When you've got so many people on for a debut win, yeah, Kevin's the only one of those drivers. Kevin, of course, had won in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I mean, they were all on for a debut win. Abbring looked like he might take a debut win on his debut in the World Rallycross Championship, which is insane. No one's ever done that. And he looked like he was on for it. Liam Doran has never won at this level. He got his podium earlier this year. He could have had his debut win. Gronholm could have had the win in Abu Dhabi, got it taken away. We thought he might get it here, but he lost out. I mean, it's just been the most topsy-turvy, bonkers semi-finals and final ever.
It's been awesome though, hasn't it? We can see Liam Doran, well, those 3, the guys that they went into the Joker lap straight away, and they came out, and within a lap they were all over the back of these guys whilst they were fighting. You can see the fight between these guys all the way down through to the hairpin down the bottom.
If Gronholm hadn't lost P2 at turn 2, I wonder if he might have been able to do a little bit more, but I'm not convinced he would have got past Abbring that easily. I think Abbring in the end joked to try to save a podium, because there was a point at which he went when we knew he wouldn't take the win. but a podium obviously would have been an epic result for ES Motorsport as well. So, oh, look at that. Is that water coming into Hanson's car?
Yeah, I think it was. So maybe they might have the washer tank in the car. There might have been
maybe
something.
the hose has come off or something.
Hose coming off and
You can do
spraying.
without that, can't you, in the car? Kevin Avering went joker. Look, at this point, Liam Doran hadn't jokered and was up for taking the lead. So they go through the water on the outside. So Kevin and Niklas haven't jokered here, and Liam's looking like he's on for his debut win. And then, so we didn't see this because I think we were down at the bottom. On board with Markland, goes past. He must know now these guys haven't joked, and suddenly, Dan, your heart rate goes 10,000.
Yeah, he knows he has to just keep himself really clean and not make any mistakes because of how tight all of them have been. But yeah, he's going to be told that those guys have to joker, and when he sees this happen now, he's going, yes, I now have a clear track in front of me. I'm half a lap away from taking
a world championship victory.
Yeah.
I mean, what a feeling that must be, but also when you know the conditions are this bad as well, he'd have been absolutely petrified. He held his nerve all the way to the checker flag. He takes his debut world championship win. Markland climbing out of the car, trying to anyway. Oh, brilliant. Banging on the roof that was smashed to bits down in Abu Dhabi. Markland has just got better and better this season. He's done it. Guillaume de Ridder there to congratulate Anton Markland along with the other members of the team. There's Carlos Sullivan as well. It's the first win, of course, for GCK as well. So the first win for GCK taken by Anton Markland. Timmy straight over to congratulate Anton as well. Okay, so I'm guessing they're being told scrutineering probably, Dan. They don't want too much contact with them.
Yeah, I think that was maybe what Timmy was saying to him. Him there, just saying, you know, be careful. Don't be hugging too much.
Why? Because I think it's things like weight, isn't it? Look, we've seen some slight things over the years where people have poured water on someone to make sure they make minimum weight, but that's not going to happen today. I can promise you that. Look at Markland. Look at Markland. Right, Anton Markland on the outside of the grid here. Liam goes backwards, then suddenly finds traction. To be fair, Liam's start was terrible, and then it hooked up and went. And Joker, we said this, didn't we? Joker lap 1 with the consistency of gravel might give you what you need to get the result that you want.
Yeah, and with the guys on the standard lap having a big fight as well, that really played into Liam's hands. The guys on the standard lap would have lost half a second to a second in their big fight.
The gap went up and down, didn't it? At one point, I think it was up to 4, wasn't it, when Ambring was out in the lead. Then it was down to 3.2, then sort of 1.8. And at 1.8, we thought it was Liam's. And then whatever happened to Liam's car there, Liam and Kevin, I can't help but feel a bit sorry for because they will be gutted. They will know they've had, either of them, really, a surefire win snatched from them, particularly Liam, because Kevin Ambring had started to lose out in terms of the times. It was Liam's, really, and I do feel a bit gutted for him.
Yeah, it was Liam's through the whole race, really, but and then we saw that problem with his car. We don't know what it was, and he would have felt it go, and he would not. You don't know how to react to you when there's a thing like that.
And don't forget, he hadn't even made it. He qualified Q13. It was only the fact that Bachuska got disqualified 2 hours ago. Liam's probably out of his race suit going, I'm disappointed. Look at that. Yes! Amazing. There they are, look, Ian Bergin and Carlos Sullivan, 2 key guys at GCK, the team's first ever victory. Cars are in Parc Ferme down in front of the podium. They get the guys up there very shortly and get some champagne sprayed. Monster Energy girls are there. Must have had umbrellas. They're not looking as wet as everyone else. Podium coming up. So Anton Markland has won his debut round of the World Rallycross Championship, and he's taken the first win for GCK as well. Niklas Gronholm was the TQ man. He gets 3rd here. Laura's with him now.
Niklas, it's written all over your face. You're very disappointed. Can you try and sum up your emotions?
Yeah, where should I start?
everything went wrong in the start. Once again, in the semi it was the same. It was just wheel spin, terrible. So yeah, after that, what can I do? Nowhere to pass. I tried everything. I was all over Kevin, but he was just covering his line, and yeah, they were pretty slow in front. I have to say, I would have had a lot of more speed. The car felt perfect all over the gravel. I was like banging into Kevin, and sometimes it wasn't even on purpose. So, like, yeah, we had the speed, but we messed up the starts.
Bad luck. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thanks.
Championship standings after round 5. Kevin Hansen with his P2 is within 2 points of his brother Timmy Hansen. Andreas Backer at his third. Didn't make the semis here, and you can see the difference between his points and those two ahead. Timosyanov moves up to 4th. Baumanis down to 5th, but there's only 1 point between them. Niklas is 6th, Anton 7th. Liam Doran down in 8th.
And very different emotions right now. A very happy Kevin Hansen, 2nd place for you. You're knocking your brother out of the final firstly, and then coming through to take 2nd there. Talk me through the emotions we've had over the last hour of what's been completely crazy rallycross.
I think I've never experienced this in rallycross. This was unbelievable. I ran from my paddock to the car in the semi, sat in for maybe an hour, and you know, now after this final I had the wiper water coming everywhere inside the car, so it was raining inside but not outside. It was absolutely crazy, but you know, Anton's win, he deserves this so much. He worked so hard, and for me to be 2nd, I'm so happy.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Well done.
Thank you.
Kevin Hansen over the moon. Team Hansen MJP are only 20 points ahead of GRX Tanako, so I think it's going to be between those two, but Monster and GRX Cartel doing brilliantly in 3rd place as well. GC Competition have moved up, and that's because they won today for the first time ever with Anton Markland.
Well, Anton, we're all saying it. That was the most bonkers hour of rallycross that I think anyone has seen for a long time. For you, it's even more mad. You are the winner, a debut win here in the filthiest of conditions. Can you try and sum up your emotions?
I think that's not easy. I think it will need to be a normal interview with saying that before the semifinals, they said that it will be quite cloudy. And I said, oh, really? And it can be some rain? And said, yeah, maybe. And I said, okay, I will do the rain dance until the start of the semifinal, because I know in the rain we will be really strong. We showed that on the semifinal. Liam was really good on closing the door. I tried to overtake him for 6 laps, but I couldn't. And we had the same story in the final. He was ahead of me, and I really tried everything to get past, but I couldn't. But in the end, he had a misfire on the engine or something like that, so I could overtake him down the hill, and then just like a walk in the park for the victory. It's
and
great.
Voila, the win. You better get up to the podium. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Podium time then. Niklas Gronholm super disappointed with 3rd. You could see the emotion in his eyes. Niklas has been in hospital for 6 weeks. 3rd is a brilliant result. It was a debut TQ. He's a form man. I think he'll do it. Kevin, well happy with P2. Anton Markland, I don't think can believe it quite yet. He takes the win for GCK. Two Swedes on the podium, the Swedish national anthem. For that man, though, the winner, Anton Markland, takes his debut win in the FIA World Rallycross Championship here at Hell in Norway. Kevin Hansen P2 and Niklas Gronholm 3rd. What a mad weekend. Dan Rook, your thoughts?
Mind blown.
Yeah, there's that emoji. That's pretty much it. I want to replace my head with a mind blown emoji. Come on, Anton. Kevin Hansen picks up his trophy too. And then Niklas Gronholm, he's happy. I know Niklas is going to be disappointed. It's a great result, but we know there will be more to come from the Finn.
And champagne for the Monster Girls. Give them a big hand.
Champagne time for these three. Great stuff. Brilliant, brilliant racing all weekend long in the dry and then in the wet. It's been crazy. Thanks to Dan Rook. Need to say thank you to Laura Winter as well, who's been with us for the last 4 events. And we'll be back later on in the year for WRX from Estering. Neil Cole joins us from Hollier. So thank you, Laura, for all your hard work over these last 4 events. This was the weekend in hell. Sunshine right up until just before the semi-finals. We had no idea who was going to get it. It looked like it was going to be Kevin Appring on his debut. Then it looked like it might be Liam Doran. It ended up being this man. Anton Markland took the debut win for him and for GCK, and he races at home next time out at Holliers in Sweden. We will see you there for the Magic Weekend.